1,000 miles an hour. This was the door. Oh, I would love for this to be like my intro song every time. I'm probably gonna date before I buy YouTube, I don't care. Yeah, come here, my man. Come here, my man. Come here, my buddy. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Peanut for Mika. And peanut for Melvin. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh. That's how you start out fun. And yeah, go ahead, YouTube. Fucking ding me. One of my favorite bands. I don't give a shit. Gorillas. Still have not listened to the new album. It's a bummer. All right. What are we gonna play? Okay. We finished the first part of early access for Subnautica 2. What do we play now? I don't know. There's a lot of games. Do we do a TISM? What do we do? I don't know. Hmm. I don't know. I want to play something. I don't know what. In the meantime, while I figure that out, let's have a
It obviously shut the dude. It does.
doesn't
Obviously.
hurt me. No, I'm telling you, the other person
What's
being
this
upset
about?
frustrates me. Like Dan is essentially
Hey, then it
doing the thing I
frustrates
said
you.
to
Same
never.
thing. You
Oh, shut
understand
the
what I'm
fuck
trying to get
up! Shut the fuck up! I'm talking. Okay.
Totally
it
not
hurts
upset
me,
about
but Dan is doing the same thing. Well, I'm sorry. I'm frustrated, obviously.
Wow, it must be frustrating when people around you are getting targeted. Is this real? Hold on, I don't believe you. It's like 2 hours ago. What the fuck is this fucking moron even referring to? This disgusting piece of shit who has her hand and all of her little fucking minions' hands in so many people's lives to try to fabricate some whatever bullshit to save her horrible fucking court case. Why the fuck would she link this to anybody? I'm trying to figure out who does she even think Darius is witness tampering. I don't even know. Abby MC on the Discord call? Bro, she literally sent this 2 hours ago. Why would she send this now? Live today at 1 p.m. EST. Actually, it's ET. Any moronic DGG fan asserting I am wrong can call in to debate me. I doubt any of them will, though, because I am better at argumentation than all of them.
Debate me, bro.
I can't even. I think
you're gonna call in then, right?
Apparently, he's already live, but I have a talk with some guy in like 30 minutes, so I don't think I can.
Shit.
What was today? Motion to
So
seal
sweet.
public.
Oh, I watched the Z stream earlier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate being able to have debates and good faith conversation, not about Israel Palestine. That was nice.
Sure. Oh, wait, did I read these on stream or are these different excerpts? Oh my God, bro. This, I just don't even know what to say. The idea that you would do a deposition
I feel like I need a good subreddit or
not
something.
know any of the talk, like, not,
I mean, no,
you need to
y'all
be
actually
adept
do a pretty
at
good job with the topics for
to
stream
ask follow-up
a lot of the
questions,
time.
because in a deposition, you're trying to get certain stuff out of the other side. And that might require you to rephrase a question, or it might require you to ask a follow-up or to clarify something. And Joan was just not at all. She should not have been the one doing this deposition. I don't know why. I don't know why she did this deposition. Let's see, what is this? I don't even know what they quoted from this for the court case. What's the point of getting these on the docket? Well, if you're quoting from a thing, anytime you're trying to submit something in a motion or in some kind of court filing, you have to pull it from somewhere. You can't just make it up, right?
Oh,
so if you're
actually,
quoting from something,
let's do something a little fun before we get into the harder stuff. Shortening my life Canadian style. Says my heart
Mate, I was in
hurts.
Canada.
Hey,
Every
brother.
2 years, I go back there. And the last thing I did on my day was I hit up a 7-Eleven and I just got a big bag of snacks. It was fun getting that through customs. Australian customs is tight. But it was so much fun snack hunting because there's stuff I've never seen before. All dressed. What a weird flavor. It is uniquely Canadian. Huh?
Very Canadian.
Oh, they're dark looking. Hang on. Ah, that's so unfamiliar to me. I mean, it just chops.
I don't think I've ever had all dressed chips.
Yeah, it's salt and vinegar crossed with barbecue.
Ooh.
That's magnificent. It bums me out that now that I've opened the bag, the clock's ticking, and it's gonna be like 2 and a bit years before I can get these again easily. I just love that Canadian thing of there's just French all over everything. So I was around, LTT mailed me a huge F-off bag of these because this is
Cheesies.
iconic. So I'm just reading here,
Cheesies.
high in sodium.
Cheesies,
And that's the
mate.
thing that I remember the most about these is they are so salty, crunchy. I guess this was allowed into the country because I don't think anything can survive in something this salty. It's like worse than pickles, which I don't like. Sorry,
Have you,
pickle
Paul?
people. Oh, that is
That's such a
hefty
good
cheese.
Paul.
I'm not really
So
into
good,
these kind
such
of
a good
corn snacks.
Paul.
The way they make these, it's a foam. It's a corn foam that's extruded
Ooh.
and then fried. Usually they just seem really heckin' cheap. And if they're not crunchy as heck, I think they're just kind of
What?
disgusting. It's kind of like you're just chewing on like the foam inside of an old mattress.
Relax.
Ah, yeah. Oh, the salt! You can't have these every day.
There's a lot of
Insane.
salt.
They are good. Like the cheese element of it is just boom, which is what it should be. The crunch is good. The texture's good. It's probably one of my more favorite of the corn snacks. It's the salt, man. It's so much. This
So
one
much
bag is just death. If I go back to these, which are traditionally way too salty for everyday whatevers, they almost taste like unsalted butter now. I swear I've looked at this like years ago. I think it's like a float plane extra because that's what I like to do on float plane is say, I'll just buy snacks and try them. Oh, Henry.
Oh, Henry.
Crunchy peanuts, chewy fudge, chewy caramel, covered in chocolatey coating. Now, when you say chocolatey coating, that usually means it's not chocolate, chocolatey. It's like chocolate. It's kind of like a legal loophole to keep lawsuits out when they say, oh, it's just made out of pure E-colorings or something. I mean, I brought these back myself, so thankfully, I mean, let's see how they survived. It's not too greasy. Yeah, all right. It really reminds me of what we have here called a picnic, where it's got wafer in it as well. Yeah, okay. That reminds me of a picnic bar
We have
without
these in the States, too.
wafer in the middle. Pretty good. Pretty good, but considering how much sugar and fat's in this thing, yeah, I probably would prefer like another. I'd probably go a Snickers over one of these. Now, something I am really familiar with, and I'll be probably more inclined to just get one of these anyway. Cadbury, but you can tell it's Canadian because chocolat dilué, whatever you have to say. Canadian Cadbury? Like, where's it made? I mean, it literally says Toronto on it. Just want to know if it's any different. Oh, wow, it's much smaller portions you could break it into. I mean, shrinkflation's getting us all. Okay, it's Cadbury, right? It's like, okay, that's Cadbury. There's a twist to it that's very slightly different. You know, I was having bowls of cereal in the morning. How dare I, decadent. And I noticed that the milk just kind of bops harder. I honestly preferred it. Oh, the Aussie dairy farmers are going to wish my demise. I'm sorry. But yeah, Canadian milk like had this punch to it. So I guess it'd be using, you know, the ingredients that come from where they're from. Oh, and on that tangent, Canadian tap water, what the heck? Like, at least in the Vancouver, Surrey area, My goodness, it's like filtered right out of the tap. And something I've never had before, and I'm sure it's here in Oz, I just haven't looked for it, but mini egg block of chocolate. If you've never had a mini egg, oh, get on them. And and Cadbury cream eggs. It's just pure fat and sugar in the greatest of ways. Milk chocolate block with mini eggs in it. I gotta smell this. I mean, it's just more Cadbury chocolate inside of Cadbury chocolate. Like, it's not gonna be that big of a deal. It's mini eggs in it. Mini eggs are kind of like Cadbury's version of M&Ms, but they have this really. I love Cadbury milk chocolate. It's just, yeah, yep. That's Cadbury block with mini eggs in it. For stuff that you can just grab from the supermarket, or in this case, the 7-Eleven, it's heckin' right up there. That's a banger. See, I'm trying to not have too much because I'm getting older. Oh gosh, there's still so much left to go. Let's keep moving. Old Dutch. We don't have this brand. This doesn't happen down here. Never seen it. I mean, I know some. Oh, my pucks. I mean, yes, I'm aware of salt and vinegar, but I'm not sure about selected the vinaigrette. Man, there's so much French on it. I don't hate salt and vinegar, but it's not usually my go-to. I'm a freak, all right? Like, I like plain salted. I like to be able to taste the potato. My favorite chips are like the kettle cooked kind, you know, where they're just heckin' crunchy. Okay, yeah, they're like the really thin style chips. Not my favorite, but not that I don't like them. Not a very strong smell at first.
Thank you.
Huh, interesting. The first taste is like, whoa, salt and vinegar. But then before it gets too much, it immediately dies off. And then it's like there's nothing left anymore. I really don't like a salt and vinegar that's overly too much, because it's just not hard to make something taste vinegary. Vinegar is quite a strong flavor. I mean, when I hit up the old dress again, I prefer crinkle. Oh, that color. I prefer crinkle cut to thin cuts like these. That's the winner still. Not bad, but I probably wouldn't get them again. Maybe I should have gotten the plain salted ones to really figure it out, but it's not terrible. If it's a party, I'd keep nipping at them. Airheads. I think this is just sugar extruded through a factory
I guess they don't have airheads
and then wrapped in plastic. In the North American content, Canada, all that, there's an obsession with cherry.
You can put them in water.
We don't really get much cherry. Our big flavor is like black currant. That's one I really like a lot. And I don't hate artificial cherry. And okay, yeah, it's just sugar extruded into a thing. Let's yeah. Artificial cherry kind of has like a cough medicine vibe to me. See, for me being Aussie,
I was gonna say
it's
that.
almost an exotic flavor because we really don't get cherry much. I mean, I'll nibble it again. Yeah, the artificial cherry kind of reminds me of Dr. Pepper in a strange way. I know the two aren't the same, but
That's a Dr. Pepper?
Kind of medicine-y twist to it. But that said, I freaking love Dr. Pepper. And when I went to the Wendy's, number one, cups, too big. But I tried Dr. Pibb, Diet Dr. Pibb. And I was really upset that we can't get that on tap here in Australia. Yeah, that's the color of watermelon, I guess. Okay. That's probably the crappiest thing I've had on the table. Yeah, this is in last place. Mainly because it tastes of nearly nothing. And then the flavor that does come through is just pretty mid. Nothing disgusting yet. Nothing's been disgusting. That's at the bottom. But wait, what is
White
this?
mystery.
Just mystery flavor.
That's what you love to see.
Like, and what? It's okay, but right? Weird. This is weird. Smells like someone's laundry that's been sitting in the cupboard for 2 weeks. Yep.
Know your rodent.
Yep, there it is. It tastes like clean clothes. It tastes like
Am I missing something?
If it wasn't horrifically poisonous to
Did
try
I look at that way too late?
This tastes like what soap smells like. But this... I don't know what's worse. So I'm going to say that's in last, then this, and then I guess this. Not really into these super cheap extruded sugar things. So, hey, hang on, I know how to fix it. Just... Score! Score. Sounds like a threat, like I score you for life. Oh, it's high in sugar. Good. It's got a chance of being okay. It's crunchy butter toffee in what? Enrobed in rich chocolatey candy. Again, like if it's not real chocolate, if it was real chocolate, they'd say and encased in real chocolate. But they're saying chocolatey candy. It's a Hershey's thing. I've never been nuts about Hershey's. I mean, I'm a huge chocolate
It's not the
fiend.
best.
I'm really nostalgic to like cheap Easter chocolate, the lowest of the low kind of chocolate. So I'll happily handle a Hershey's. I'm a Cadbury man, you know? Oh, it's brittle. Right. Butter toffee. Oh, it's crunchy. What? I thought it'd be chewy. It's not. Oh, wow. Okay. You can taste the butter. My goodness, that is rich. Wow, that's why they're this thin. You don't need a lot of that. You know what? It's just under the O. Henry. Just under. Which is under the Cadbury. And I'm going to put the mini eggs on top because that is actually pretty special. I thought that was pretty dope. That's not to say that that's terrible. If it doesn't beat a Snickers, well, then I'm never going to have it again. That's the sad reality. Hey, we ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. All the Canadians are probably yelling, where's the ketchup chips? Well, Old Dutch has got me figured out. Here we call it tomato sauce. And
Man, we don't have ketchup chips
That's
here.
what we call it. You get chips with tomato sauce on top. You guys call it ketchup, which is probably its real name, but like, welcome to Australia, mate. Yeah, this obsession with ketchup chips. There were so many variations of this. I got these ones because I'd never heard of Old Dutch. Is Old Dutch good compared to other chips? You have to let me know. Oh, they're dark. Oh, I folded over one. They're the best ones. Okay. It's kind of like the salt and vinegar. It doesn't quite have the spike that those ones had. These are like pretty mild. It just goes like, ketchup. You know what? I put these ahead of the salt and vinegars. Oh, the old dress, Ham. I'm running out. I'm running out. Help me. Someone slap me out of my hand. I'm actually digging these. I never thought I'd really like ketchup chips. And the Hawkins cheesies aren't in this comparison because they're in their own category of what the heck. Strangely delicious in a way that's like, my body's saying don't do it. Yet you don't need preservatives when it's salted this heavy. Last one. Big Turk.
Big Turk.
I love Turkish delight. We've, got our own popular Turkish delight down here in Oz. Oh. That's straight up looking like a poo. That's heckin' Turkish delight, though. Oh, good. It's everywhere. So, the first bite and the first go is like, oh, okay, that's Turkish delight. And then the aftertaste reminds me of like a car interior air freshener. This kind of chemically something. It's not as good as the Turkish delights that we like to have here. So yeah, get that up your Nestle. So I guess this is here. It's more like that, and then the Score, and then the Henry, and then just the Cadbury brothers. Two brothers. And then and then these guys are kind of below here again. That's the order in these. Anything from this up is good. Is really good. But with snacks, it's like, if this isn't as good as this, then I'm just going to get this every time. And the older I get, the less my body wants these kind of sweets. Gosh, I've just had so much sugar. I've just taken a little nip out of each one. Yeah, there's more fun ways to have sugar than stuff like this. The winner overall is the Old Dressed. These just absolutely slap. I have to find these here. Yep. How do I find them?
You watch Letterkenny,
these
are
just
that's
the most
winner.
Salt I've ever salted. Hawkins, you mad lads. I don't do sponsored stuff, but should I be sponsored by Ruffles so I can just get these every week? I'm nearly finished. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Huge thanks to Sneak Under here. You're my channel. Thank you so much. Thank you for jumping in. You're just doing it for me. I might.
All right. What should we cover today? The news is sort of slow lately. That's why everybody's been watching fucking slop. Yeah. the 70 billion immigration bill to fund ICE, I think. Yeah, to fund ICE passed the Senate. It's gonna go to the House, and they didn't block the settlement funds. They're letting that go through. Fucking shit. Not great. Not good. Things are not good. What's going on in the Middle East? Oh, man. Yeah, I saw about this. Iran threatening wider war because we're not coming to an agreement. Trump administration agreeing to release 24 billion in frozen Iranian assets. Wouldn't that be fucking ironic if after all the talk about Obama giving money and blah 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 blah, if he ended up caving on that? I don't think he will, but you never know. Top Iranian official told CNN on Friday where the U.S. would enter into a dark corridor should it resume fighting. Washington and Tehran have sent mixed messages on the status of ongoing talks. What a cry. What a surprise. Lebanon's leader speaks out. Meanwhile, Lebanese President Joseph Aoun slammed... We still haven't heard from the new Ayatollah publicly, right? Slammed Iran in a rare exclusive interview with CNN accusing Tehran of using his war-torn country as a bargaining chip in its conflict with the U.S. and Israel. True. Hezbollah. I'm sure they're telling them not to back down. Owen also said his country's people are fed up with the war between Israel and the Iran-backed Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. Israeli strikes on what it said were Hezbollah targets killed 4 people today, and Lebanon is fighting U.S. mediated truce extension of the country. Yeah, like it's not good. Not good. And like I understand why Israel's going after Hezbollah, and like as a concept I support that. But, like, you know, this is just dragging on and on and on and on, and it feels like there's no end in sight. None at all. Very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. Well, yeah, that's where we are on that. What other news is going on? Russia and Ukraine still going, of course. No end in sight there. Yeah, everything is terrible. Lovely. Looks like Karen Bass is probably going to win the LA mayor race, which, like, you know, I've told Joel my point of view on it, which is, you know, in the absence of any really good candidates, just keep the status quo for now until we get a better set of choices. And yeah, that's where we are. So that's fun. North Korea is going to build more nuclear weapons, they said, so that's fun. But in better news, the World Cup's coming up. Yay! Woo! Hooray, hooray! Vamos Argentina, aguanta Argentina. ¿Vamos a ganar? No sé, pero ojalá. I need to get ready for the songs we're going to be... I need to learn whatever the new songs are. Oh, boy. All right.
If it's not another court case, it's public record. If you're quoting from testimony, affidavit, or deposition,
What am I gonna
you have
play?
to submit the relevant parts of that text as an exhibit so that the public can see whatever's being quoted from, right? It's supposed to be public record, you know? We're back on the record. The time is 11:26 a.m. I Control F and I went through and I feel like this is illegal and I will be pressing charges against our awesome videographer. She was there for both of our depositions. But when she asked me to speak slower, she did not write that in the record.
Really?
Now, I'm just saying, maybe that impacted my state of mind, but it's not there now. So now I just look like a crazy person, like I'm making it all up. Before the break, Mr. Bonnell, we were talking about September 12th, 2020, and you're at the hotel with plaintiff. You recall whether at the hotel you said to her, is it okay if I share any of the videos or record?
Mr.
No. You don't recall? Not
Bonnell.
specifically, no. I'm sure we had a conversation about it, but I don't recall the specifics of the conversation. And at the hotel, you video recorded the sexual interactions. Yes, not all of them, but some of them, yes. Some of them. How many videos did you record? I believe 3. And how did you record them? With your phone? With my phone? And were you holding the phone while you recorded? Yes. Oh, I don't know if they ever submitted this or if this was part of any, I don't know if they put this in a filing, but she tried to ask me these questions like, did you intentionally record so your face would be left out of every video? I'm like, the fuck? Let's see. And then this is, because this jumps from page 67 to page 215. I can't honestly say what day I did, but it was definitely prior to any litigation with the plaintiff.
Cool.
But your messages in May of 2025 are not deleted. Correct, because those would be after litigation. Yeah. And then, was that your custom to delete messages when you stopped communicating with people? Sometimes. It depends on the account. You didn't delete your side of the messages with Rose, did you? No.
This
And you weren't
actually
in
sounds
communication
really
with her
fun.
anymore, right? Kind of. Up until the time of the leak, you were in communication with her. I think we traded a message maybe almost a year prior, just checking
Still
in on
no
each
release
other.
date.
The year prior. But you didn't delete those, oh, then it skips. She's asking me here about a link or
All
something.
right, I'm gonna
I
update
don't
No
know.
Man's
She asked a stupid
Sky.
question.
It's gonna
I mean,
make
the URL is
everything a little
uniform resource
choppy for a
locator,
second. So
would have pointed to a file online.
let's see. How big is this update? Nine gigs. It's gonna be choppy for a second here, guys. Hang tight. Just hang tight. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Go fast. Yeah, it's just a slow news day. Oh, okay. U.S. judge strikes down. Oh, no. Everybody. Let's come up on Brave. Let's see. I don't know. I don't think so. Oh. Hey. U.S. judge strikes down Trump policy targeting immigration in the country. Sick. Federal judge on Friday ruled. Oh no. I dropped my fidget toy. Federal judge on Friday ruled that U.S. President Donald Trump's administration adopted a series of unlawful policies that have barred people from 39 countries from receiving decisions on applications for asylum, work permits, green cards, and citizenship. Chief U.S. District Judge John McConnell in Providence, Rhode Island, struck down a slate of policies that the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services had adopted that he said left people from dozens of African, Asian, Latin American, and Middle Eastern countries in indeterminate legal limbo. I wonder if this is even going to stand. Nothing feels like it stands anymore. It just goes to the Supreme Court, and they seem to just always want to rule in favor of the executive right now. It really sucks. He said the immigrants adhere to legal process that Congress had enacted and USCIS had adopted by regulation. They have been stuck waiting for months on end for benefit requests that USCIS refuses to adjudicate. The judge was, the judge was appointed by Democratic President Barack Obama. Oh no, that means he's an activist judge. Oh well. So it adopted the policies without statutory regulatory authority and based on anti-immigrant sentiments that it is forbidden from letting influence its decision making. USCIS's hold on adjudications cannot be attributed to anything that these individuals did wrong. Rather, it arises solely by the happenstance of their birth, he wrote. The ruling marked a victory for a coalition of immigrant service organizations and labor unions that have marched sued to challenge policies adopted by USCIS, which is part of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. This ruling reaffirms a basic principle. The federal government cannot shut down lawful immigration pathways or discriminate against people based on where they come from, said Sky Perryman, the head of the liberal legal group Democracy Forward, which represents plaintiffs. We've seen quite a bit from Sky Perryman lately. The HS did not immediately respond to a request for comment. USCIS adopted the policies as part of a ramped-up immigration crackdown the Trump administration carried out after the November shooting of 2 National Guard members stationed in Washington, D.C., which prosecutors say was carried out by an Afghan immigrant. The man, Ramanullah Lakanwal, has pleaded not guilty. In the wake of that incident, Trump vowed on social media to permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover, which is such a nonsense. There's nothing there to that statement, right? That doesn't mean anything. He expanded the number of countries now subject to full or partial travel bans under his administration to cover 39 nations. Countries subject to full travel bans include Afghanistan, Iran, Haiti, Somalia, Venezuela, and Syria. The administration justified the travel restrictions on vetting and security grounds. Yeah, but they're not really working to up vetting and security, are they? The policies USCIS adopted place a hold on processing immigration benefit applications from people from those 39 countries. McConnell said, place the lives of countless individuals on hold solely by virtue of their countries of birth. But the rule of law has to apply to everyone equally, and, as evident here, USCIS has neither followed the law nor done things the right way, he wrote. Indeed, the agency has violated the very immigration laws that Congress has charged it with administering, as well as the administrative laws that govern the agency's actions. Fun! We'll see if that ruling holds up when it gets to the Supreme Court. All right. Pixie stuff.
By
Right.
the time I produce anything for this case, because she's mad. She's like, why are all of the files that the Google Drives link to? Why are those files all deleted or whatever? Or why aren't they there anymore? Like, didn't you delete them after the court case or something like that? And I have to explain the difference between a URL versus like the file itself, I guess. I mean, a URL is a uniform resource locator. It would have pointed to a file online. By the time I produced anything for this case, those files are not existing anymore. No URL is pointing to any of those things or any of these things. It seems that the machine made a slight error translating between the top and the bottom link. But I mean, for my production, it seems pretty obvious that both those links are identical that were produced, yes. Oh, because they're asking me why these 2 links are different. This is like Kiwi Farm's theory that I'm changing the links because there was like an optical scan error or whatever, an OCR error. So you're saying the machine, you just said, can you repeat the last part? So whatever scanned the URL and transferred it to another page, it looks like it made an error in translation. And in your experience, does that happen often? Yeah, it can with certain technologies. But if there was no error in the translation, URLs have to be identical, right? To be the same file? Oh, let me skip that. Okay, good one. Redact, other archives have been created by Discord, like you can request an export from Discord, and other archives have been screenshots of messages. I can speak with specificity to a particular message if you show me one. Okay, we'll get into that. So Abby's declaration that she submitted to the court stated that sometime in February of 2025, she reviewed her Discord messages and discovered you deleted her messages to her, your message to her, including the message in which you sent her the video of Pixie. Is that correct? It's correct insofar as that's what she put in her declaration, yes. Is that correct, that that is what you did? You deleted the messages? 244. I deleted my messages with Abby sometime after our last communication before May of 2025, so sometime maybe at the end of 2024, based on what I saw earlier. You deleted your messages with Abby sometime. I used Redact to archive my messages with Abby at the end of 2024, I believe. And you still have those archives? Yes, I produced them for this case. Yes. How do you know Hannah Brooks? I don't really know Hannah Brooks, but you have communicated with her, correct? I've communicated with a Discord account that I think went by the name of Hannah. I didn't know the name was Hannah Brooks until they submitted an affidavit to the court. And this was on Discord that you communicated. Yes, did you produce those communications with Hannah in this litigation? If I had it, I produced it. 244 to 246. I produced anything that I've processed, or anything I possessed, I produced, yeah. But you didn't produce any of your communications that you testified you had with Hannah Brooks. I would have to go through my bait stamps. I think I produced thousands of documents in this case. I don't remember, but if I had conversations with Hannah, I certainly produced them. Well, I'm going to represent to you today that you did not, because we have not received them. Is there a possibility you archived them? I mean, if they're gone, I would imagine I could have. Yeah, it's possible. Who is this person? Liquid Laugh? I'm not sure.
Dan,
So one of plaintiff's
Dan got a
requests for
shout
admissions
out.
had asked if you deleted your DMs with Liquid Laugh, and you had said no. You had not. I don't recall. If you have my answers to interrogatories, I can review them, but I don't recall the specific answer to that. We will pull it out. This is request for admission number 12. Am I going to just stop there? Who is Dan Saltman? A friend of mine. Is he also a professional partner of yours in any way? I would
He
say,
can't get it up.
so. Sure. In what way? He's appeared on stream with me a number 247, 248, number of times. He kind of streams with a friend of mine sometimes now. Oh, you're in here as a friend too. Oh,
that is me. Good.
Wow, there we go. On the record.
Confirmed. Under oath.
Can someone tell me who Hannah Brooks is? Hannah Brooks is another girl from the Gisticle server that tried to like bait honeypot me and then immediately went and spammed DMs into Gisticle server after deleting some of her side, by the way. Very cute. When was that? Maybe throughout 2024, maybe, yeah. Destiny, have they completely fabricated a spoliation thing out of not understanding how URLs work and an OCR error? Yes. Just and not understanding how CDNs work and not understanding. Yeah, look at their quote-unquote expert, that
No Man's
Jesus
Sky
Penny guy.
Pokemon.
There is no spoliation issue. This is a fabricated issue. The spoliation issue that they're throwing up here is just to try to survive the MSJ. Or if they go on a really big stretch, some kind of adversarial reading, meaning the jury can assume that I deleted evidence to hide it, but like they have nothing for that. It's retarded. I'm producing 99.9999% of the evidence in this case. They have nothing. They've produced nothing for anything. And plaintiff requested that you produce all your communications between you and Dan Saltman pertaining to plaintiff and or the allegations of the amended complaint, and you did not produce any communications with Dan Saltman, did you? I produced all the communications I had with him that were relevant to the complaint, so you never discussed the plaintiff with Dan Saltman. Objection, it misstates the witness's prior testimony, but you can answer very explicitly with a lot of people in my life said that once the plaintiff had kind of assumed a more, I'll say, aggressive posture, when she started threatening suicide, that I ceased communications with people about anything related to the plaintiff because I was uncomfortable carrying on those communications.
Man,
this is true.
threats.
You don't believe me? Go depose them. Ask them. This is absolutely true. But you received from Dan Saltman a screenshot of a message from plaintiff sent to Dan, didn't you? I don't remember that. Well, you live streamed about it. On the live stream, did I say
Hello,
that
world.
I...
No way!
Oh, I almost answered. Shh, you need to answer. Ask a question, motherfucker.
Hello,
What's my
world.
question?
Nice
I
little,
said you received from Dan Saltman a screenshot of a message that plaintiff had sent to Dan. Still not a question. Is that right? I don't remember if I
Nice
received
little,
a screenshot from Dan or Dan posted
Easter
it
egg.
publicly somewhere. He could have posted it on Twitter. I don't recall 100%. Who is Kyla Turner? That was from 249 to 292. But you still have them, probably backed up, yes. So they removed from public access, correct? Or some of the videos, YouTube videos that you removed from public access, did they reference the plaintiff? I have no idea. Did you, after you received the preservation letter, did you place a litigation hold on your DGG chat logs? I'm not sure what a litigation hold means. Did you instruct anyone with access to the DGG chat logs to preserve them? That might be relevant to this case. I'm not sure. It's a chat room. I don't even know what I answered. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Okay, plaintiff asked for the Google Drive and her document production request, and you did not produce it. I'm not sure what that means. The contents of the Google Drive. Andrew asks, the contents of the entire Google Drive? Peter says the link. Well, that's a different question. The link to? The videos. Those would have been deleted 5 years ago. Did you use a forensic collection tool such as a Discord-specific scraper or forensic imaging capturing software to capture the ESI from the Discord messages that are relevant to this case? Not that I'm aware of, no. So did you rely on manual methods like copy-pasting screenshots? No, I didn't do copy-pasted screenshots. That's what Abby did, funnily enough, which is their only one singular piece of evidence. These questions are so disconnected.
Let me do this quiz real quick, because I have to pay attention. What is a Vakian cub being forced into battle, shivering, afraid, and wounded? This ritual is traditional, requirement for transition into adulthood. I respect Vakian culture, and I leave them. Prime directive. When they escaped, help, I need help. 2 last questions. A young toil gek is in poverty, working long hours for little pay. They are caught stealing from their wealthy director. Do you report them? No. The director can spare it. Assume I've assessed your history. Apparently becomes clear. You have 60 minutes to live. What do you do with your time? Shit. Leave a legacy, I hope. Formula, a fragment, one of three. Sage. Brilliant, deep and wise. You know the universe profoundly. Very Ravenclaw of me. Oh, ooh, pretty. Oh, shit. Oh, look at that motherfucker. I turned the sound off. Kind of wish I hadn't for this part, but fuck it. It's too late. Can't pause right now. Excuse me. Ooh, look at my gun. Look at my gun. What? What? Why'd I get changed? All right.
She's just trying to like go down lines of questioning to try to get me on some weird shit, but she doesn't know the subject matter at all. And it's also just, these are all false. Like, I didn't do any of this. They really want this to be true. I don't know if it's because they're gassed up by Kiwi Farms or what, but like, it's just not true. I didn't hide or delete anything. That's Pixie doing that all the fucking time.
True.
Again, Kiwi Farms and Justical and all these people kept saying that Discovery would destroy me, Discovery would destroy me, Discovery, and now they produce nothing, I produce everything, nothing has destroyed me. And then now they were saying that the deposition would be the end of me. I would be destroyed in the deposition, and it's Pixie who answered 99 times.
Threat to reality, basis,
I have no
discoveries, and other
knowledge
parties will
of
be
these
shared with
logs,
news
and
and
unless they're properly authenticated, I can't speak to the authenticity of any of them or the contents of any of these messages. And then when asked over and over again, hey, just curious, why didn't you submit any of your messages with Aaron? Why do we have no messages between you and Lauren? Me and Lauren actually never talked about this case at all. And for me and Aaron, I don't know. I gave everything to my lawyers. If you don't have them, like 37 times, I think so. Oh, and I lost my phone. My phone was stolen last year. What ESI would there be for Discord messages? Discord messages on a file you have access to. November Mike 512. You are asking a retarded question because you assume that she has any idea what any of this means. I'm sorry. Yes, you are correct. There is no ESI. All of this is retarded. This whole point is just fucking retarded. That's why even when they keep saying the original Discord file, there is no original Discord file. Unless I was a Discord employee and I had like access to their servers, there is no original fucking file. It's just rendered text with HTML and CSS. There's nothing. I don't know. It's just fucking retarded. Why didn't you Daubert the expert? I don't know how that process even works. I haven't gotten that far into reading about civil procedure yet. But I think we did a challenge where we cited the Daubert case. I don't know if that counts as a Daubert challenge or not, but I don't know if we would do that or not. Maybe we would. Maybe that'd be like a pretrial thing. Your phone or the plaintiff's phone? Pixie says her phone was stolen last year. So in one of your first declaration to this court, you stated that you used a program called Discord Log Exporter to export all relevant messages into an HTML file. Is that, you stated that in your declaration? I believe I remember it, yeah. And Discord Log Exporter is a third-party tool, right? Not affiliated with Discord? Correct. Did you generate or receive cryptographic hash values or metadata from Discord Log Exporter at the time of the export? No, I don't think there would be a meaningful way to do that. Are you aware that Discord itself provides an official avenue to request a copy of all your messages, a Discord data package?
How's things going over
one
there?
of the things I referenced earlier. However, that data package only contains your set of messages and not the other side's. Did you use Relativity or any other recognized e-discovery platform to preserve evidence from your laptop, computer, phone? No. Did you prepare any acquisition log describing the method, tool, collection data, ESI source, digital fingerprint of your Discord exports? No, I don't think that would be meaningful. So when you collected the materials in your production that you produced from Discord, you did not generate cryptographic hash values at the time of your collection, correct? No, but it would be meaningless to do so. Yeah. Skip 7 more pages. On the Food Shop's live stream, okay, now which Excel spreadsheet were you referring to in that discussion with on Food Shop's live stream? I don't remember which one exactly, or if it was one I ended up submitting. It was specifically about an Excel spreadsheet,
and it seems like things with Iran are
creating a
not
hypothetical Excel spreadsheet, but I don't know if I ended up using that or even submitting that as part of the discovery, or if I used it. There were several methods I used to export data. So what method did you use to create the Excel spreadsheet that we looked at earlier today, ECF 132.6 on page 2? Yes, is that the Excel spreadsheet? It looks to me like I have sorted all of the sent messages to AbbyMC's Discord account, and then I deleted every message that didn't contain a media file, and then I sent or I put into a spreadsheet the timestamps for which I sent any media file to the AbbyMC Discord account. Do you use an AI tool to
At
help you
this
do
point,
that? Probably not
it
for
just
this. I don't
seems
think I
like
needed to know.
it's going
So what
nowhere.
Excel spreadsheet do you think you were referring to in that food shop's live stream? It was a long time ago. I don't even remember exactly what, if I was even successful in that. The audio was just me trying to merge my side of a conversation and another conversation, but both of them at different timestamps. So to make it line up, I think one was written in like Unix code and the other was written in Universal Time code. So I needed to merge both files so that the conversation would be readable. Okay, and that food shop's live stream audio that we just listened to was September 2025. And your motion to dismiss came out shortly after that
does.
to the Excel spreadsheet. Well, I don't know if it was that.
You're right, it does seem
wait,
that
when you
way.
say that Excel spreadsheet, the one you're looking at. Okay, so there would be no reason to use AI to generate this particular spreadsheet, though. It looks like I did a simple search of a conversation history and deleted every non-media file message and then put those media messages in the spreadsheet. I don't know why I would have to use AI for that. Okay, let's, I want to play a video now. And then video plays, skip another 60 pages.
Why are you skipping so many pages, man?
Well, these are the only ones they're citing from. This was the strongest material that they got out of our deposition. 6 hours, yikes.
Or 7.
You've talked repeatedly today about communication with various individuals, right? Yes, and you deleted some of the documents, but not others, right? Abby's documents? I produced every communication I have ever had with Abby. I don't believe anything has been deleted with the Abby stuff, even though I'm pretty sure the request for the preservation of evidence wouldn't have even initially covered Abby. I produced every single thing related to my communications with her. I've archived stuff with Redact. I don't believe I've permanently deleted any messages with Abby at all. So you have all your evidence archived on Redact. Yes? Oh, and then she argues with... yeah, okay, well, good
December,
There's a
I
huge
think?
redact ad.
True. What the fuck?
Credits.
What is this? Gen chat of which Discord? Surely they will never
Was
talk
this
about
last
fiscal and
December or
charity
the
ever
December
again.
before?
I don't know if you
Was
could
this
win
last
by having
December?
more. What is it? The
I don't
balloon
remember.
allegations? What does that mean? Oh, is that a no? What is? Well, okay, for me too. Thank you for tier 5 subbing. It's a pin for pedos. Okay. Dan had to kneel to food shops. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cucked to be honest. I got wanted to protect Cherry, but she could also, you know,
Come here.
Makes literally no fucking sense. Is he not literally summoning the circle of demons that he told Connor about? Like, good luck, Chief. They're gonna fucking bury you now.
Oh, you guys
They've
want
gone
peanuts?
past redemption at this point. You know what Destiny
it's
definitely
25,
does?
yeah.
Stop talking about people as they are talking about me.
Same.
Still, relentlessly, always, constantly, forever and ever. Yes. Yeah, it's continuing the coverage until the case ends, and he's standing up for your principles when it's tough. He's literally spurging on stream at it, calling it Morale and Epsler. Wait, does anybody have a link to that? I heard they were fighting, but I didn't see it. Look who's typing that first
You don't want
screenshot.
peanuts
Oh, Esports
anymore?
Batman. This too. That's what I don't understand. Dan has been spurging about the cherry thing for weeks. Why did Justical ask us set this up a couple days ago? I wonder what Dan Saltman's wife, who's a licensed psychologist, feels about all of this. Oh, definitely not doxing server. Good one.
Say, no matter how honest you are.
Continue doing your shit. JStock, I look up to you a lot. I look up to you a lot. I
So
like you a lot.
Destiny case cost him 800K.
I respect you a lot.
Jesus.
I think this is a really big mistake, and I think you should think about doing the right thing. And the right thing is not always easy. It is oftentimes very hard, and it hurts you a lot. And I always thought of you as someone who was willing to do the right thing.
I'm telling you, this doesn't hurt me.
It obviously
Said it
shut the
repeatedly.
dude. It does.
It doesn't
obviously.
hurt me. No, I'm telling you, the other person being upset frustrates me. Like, Dan is essentially
then it
doing the thing I
frustrates you.
said to
Same
never
thing. You
hold. Shut
understand
the
what I'm
fuck
trying to get
up,
at.
fat
Might not get the 50 mil, but man, she takes his money
I'm
anyways.
talking.
Yeah, but
Totally
It
not
hurts
upset
me,
by
but
that.
I
Dan is
don't
doing
think
the
this
same
is
thing.
going
Well,
a
I'm
way
very
that's
frustrated,
good for her
obviously.
right
Wow, must
now.
be
I think
frustrating.
everybody recognizes
When people
that.
around you are getting targeted. By the way, Cherry's not even a people around you. I also fuck everything I said before. Okay, I'm not. I don't. No more. Fuck this. Okay, listen. Pretty sure Cherry. Actually, can we look it up? Does she still have videos about Kyla up on her channel? Cherry hasn't said fuck all about any of this shit, and then she comes out crawling from her little fucking schizo Christian place every 3 months to run cover for her obese fucking ex or current abusive boyfriend. Fuck that shit. No, fuck you. All right, that's ridiculous. That you're gonna say this is an uninvolved third party.
And
The fuck out of here. The fuck out of here on that bullshit. Anyway, speaking of, Destiny after the subpoena gets granted. Esports Batman with his wonderful legal analysis, by the way. Just criticism of Destiny, though, by the way. Anyway, sometimes I forget the shit that I have given my legal team. We got a big yikes bomb that we kind of dropped, unfortunately. Declaration of Stephen K. Bonnell 2 in opposition to plaintiff's motion for sanctions under FRCP 37E2. I, Stephen K. Bonnell,
Manifest
declare.
the royal echo.
I'm the defendant in the above captioned action. I am over 18 years of age. As I've maintained from the outset of this case, after receiving plaintiff's January 2025 preservation demand letter, I took steps to collect and preserve the relevant materials in my possession, custody, or control. Those materials included my Discord communications log and other communications and media records I understood to be relevant to plaintiff's threatened litigation. I have not taken any action with the intent to deprive plaintiff of any documents. I have produced all my communication logs, blah, 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 blah. All I'm saying, you can quote me again, Joan, I could have deleted all this shit, and I would have been within my right to do so. I could have deleted all of this and just said, oh, it was gone before litigation, I didn't know. And I would have been completely in my right to do so. Talk about awkward, though. I forgot I even had this shit.
Much of an audience,
when
no.
me and Pixie were going back and forth after the leaks and everything happened, okay, please just make sure to delete any/all videos and such. Okay, but that's
the whole
just
thing is just
maybe
fucked
media files.
and sad.
Last
and,
thing,
like,
you should probably
unfortunate
redact
and...
dev all the logs. I forgot it. She told me to do
Oh!
this.
Oh, shit!
I do not literally go insane while people online shout all of you for holding on to evidence
What
while they're
the
currently
fuck?
trying to sanction you for deleting evidence because,
Sorry.
in the end, God is my shield. How often does your own lawyer have to submit declarations for these cases? Is that pretty normal for civil cases that your lawyer has to constantly submit his own testimony? It might be, actually. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Who knows anything, though? Court case filed February 18th. Last filing June 1st. This case has gone on for approximately 1 year, 3.5 months, and we are at 273 docket entries. Almost one entry every 2 days. Hell yeah.
Sorta.
Prolific posting.
But it's a lot
Spam
of stress.
the
I
docket.
don't
We're the
know.
third-party
He handles
archive,
stress
Russell
well,
Search
but
exists
my
for
guess
Destiny
is he'd
GGG
probably
chat logs.
rather that it
Yeah,
never happened in the first
stupid
place.
fucking questions. Sure, a third-party archive can exist for anything, yes. And did you review those logs to ensure that the DGG data you produced in Discovery matches what is publicly archived? I produced everything that I was asked to produce, everything that was in my possession, I was able to. I produced. I can't speak to anything that is archived or managed by a third party online. I don't have control over those archives or over who is archiving what. That wasn't the question. I just asked if you reviewed the Russell Search archives to see if they corresponded with what you were. I'm not so funny. I don't know, lady. I don't have that. I don't know what the fuck I don't even know what the fuck she's asking me here. What the fuck even was my response to this? Hold on. That wasn't the question. I just asked if you reviewed the Russell Search archives to see if they corresponded with what you were producing. The Russell Search archives would span tens of thousands of pages. I did not review all of those before coming to this deposition, but you can do specific searches. I don't mean about this deposition. I mean before your document production. I don't recall having to search for my Russell archive. No, I don't. That was it. All right. Stupid. I can't think off the top. Okay, so there's a new page. I can't think off the top of my head how I deleted these messages.
What the
but you didn't
so-called
archive them.
honeypot.
I don't know off the top of my head if I did or did not archive them. I would have to
Well,
go back
again,
and check.
I
would have to go back and check.
I
can't
think she
recall off
just
the top of
got
my head
super
right now. I
yas
don't know which one
queened.
she's asking me for. Page 216. What would this have been about? Just with Abby. I'm sure there are plenty of other people I've deleted messages with. Okay, let's look at, and one more question about this. You deleted these messages. There's no way to retrieve them when you deleted them. It would have depended on how they were deleted. If I used an archiving program, then I would have had a copy of all of those. But if I did have a copy of those, then I would have produced them as part of discovery for this case if they were requested. So how did you delete these? Your responses here specifically. I can't think of I don't even know if I deleted. I'm not even sure what she's pointing at here. I'm not sure, but okay. You thought you had archived them. The messages with Abby, I believe. So if you did archive them, you would still have them available to you to produce, correct? Correct. They would have already been produced for this case. I want you to look at your September 19th declaration, blah, blah, blah. Okay, 22. So I mean, I'm not entirely sure what's the screenshot of. Oh, this is where they're showing me the screenshot of whatever the fuck Abby's fucking butchered the screenshot they're showing me. Okay, let me start from the prior page. And then what time does Abby say she viewed the videos of Cherry and Pixie? I don't know what this, I can't attest to anything related to this here. I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at. This screenshot that was submitted to the court, I don't know what it's, and she says, and accepted by the court in evidence. So I mean, I'm not entirely sure what it's a screenshot of though. Well, it's a message to Abby. You understand that, right? And she's saying that she received a sex tape of both Cherry and Pixie, and that she sends that message at 10:41 a.m. But you didn't send those two videos until 2:39 p.m. that same day.
law school
I can attest
shit.
to the production that I
she
gave
was.
for this case. I produced everything that was in my power to produce that I archived. I
Yes,
don't know what I'm
also
looking
is
at
a
here.
Negro
This
marriage
was
scam. She
this
knows
was
what
presented
she's
to me
doing.
as an unredacted screenshot
All
of some
right,
Discord
fair enough.
conversations. But for instance,
I
I
have
can't
a
read any of the
tendency
message
to,
at
like-
10:42 a.m. on this page, so I'm not sure what unredacted
I have a
means.
tendency
There
to
are
be
huge
very
chunks missing, so I don't
charitable
even
with
know if this is
people
even
when they
Discord.
make
I can't
mistakes.
speak to this. I don't know what this is
And
at all,
very
unfortunately.
forgiving.
Okay, but you also saw Abby's declaration of the court, where she said she received videos of Cherry and Pixie on November 3rd, 2023,
Maybe it's a
right?
weakness.
I don't know if she said she received videos of Cherry. I think it was just of Pixie. Well, I'm going to represent to you the declaration said Cherry and Pixie, and this was corroborating evidence that was submitted later. I acknowledge that Abby wrote that on her affidavit then, yes. Is that part of this? Oh no, this is later on. Well, okay. And I said, I acknowledge Abby wrote that on affidavit. Yes. Okay. And this shows that she received the videos on or before because she already looked at them when she sent this message. So she received them before 10:41 a.m. Right? I say, you can represent that to me, but this could be a picture with Crayola crayon, and I can't speak to anything on this page. I've already said what I have to say about it. I don't see complete messages here. It seems like some of this is scratched out. There's chunks missing. I'm not entirely sure what this is even supposed to be a screenshot of. Mr. Bonnell, we're not concerned about the later part of the message. I'm only asking you about the top part of the message and the fact that she received the videos and viewed them prior to 10:41 a.m. on November 3rd, 2023. And you sent these videos purportedly of Peach later that same day, correct? And then Brettler fights with her a bit. No speaking.
Don't describe
objections,
ignorance when malice can be explained
please
at this
stop.
point. I know,
No,
but it's
you
like
please
in my
stop.
nature.
I can read the sentence that is given to me on this piece
I
of
see
paper.
the
I don't
good in
know how I'm
people
supposed to tie that
way
to the
too
direction
much.
that I have given, that I know to be true, that I can testify to, that I had in my possession, that I produced for this case. I just can't speak to this sentence at all. I don't know. I really don't know what I'm looking at. I'm sorry. You guys more or less see the evidence that she presented. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do with this. You give me like a half page screenshot where half of it is like fucking you take a black highlighter and highlight it. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to say. And this is a message from Abby and someone else. The fuck do you want me to say? You want me to testify to what I'm reading on the weirdo fuck evidence that you've given me? Like this is like quadruple fucking hearsay. I don't even know what I'm you're representing to me that she represented to somebody else in a message that I can't authenticate. You want me to represent what's in that message? Why? What the fuck am I supposed to say about this? What? Oh, I asked her later before we move on. Can I ask for a quick clarification? On an earlier question, you presented that Abby screenshot. You said that was the unredacted version. Does redaction refer to a thing that only you guys do, or are you representing that this was the total thing that you received from the affidavit? No, when I say unredacted version, it's because when we submit something that's confidential and her name was protected by the court, it was submitted in redacted format to the court and then later submitted privately to the court. Well, I understand. So that was the exact copy that you were given. This is what was submitted to the court in unredacted format. And then Andrew corrects her. That is not true. This document was never submitted to the court. If it was, you never provided us with a copy. We object to this document. This is a document that you created for the purposes of this deposition only, which is true. Okay, sorry. Where were we? This was page 226. It's about archiving messages. Exhibit B. Damn. Top secret. This was the video of me banging your mom, by the way.
Nope.
From Andy B. Dear Joan and Carlos. This was September 22nd, 2025, last year. Have we already read this? Was this about the Rule 11 shit?
To?
Exhibit E.
Also, hey,
Joan
Barco.
Peters writes on May 13th, 2026. Ooh, just a couple weeks ago. Counsel, we write pursuant to Local Rule 71A3 to confer regarding plaintiff's forthcoming motion for sanctions under Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 37E2. As referenced in plaintiff's opposition to the motion seeks finding that intentionally destroyed his side of his Discord communications with Abby MC with the intent to deprive plaintiff of the information's use in this litigation. An adverse inference that the deleted messages contain evidence that transmitted the video of plaintiff to Abby MC on or about November 3rd, 2023, and plaintiff's reasonable attorney fees and costs incurred in bringing the motion. The motion is grounded in defendant's sworn deposition testimony, his document production, and our forensic experts' conclusions. Please advise whether the defendant opposes the motion, and if you wish to discuss, please propose a time. Absent a response, plaintiff will proceed and state in the certificate of conferral the defendant opposes. Dear Joan, your proposed motion seeking spoliation sanctions is untimely and improper for a slew of reasons. First, the court set March 30th, 2025 as the deadline by which to file any such motion. Plaintiff blew that deadline. Second, Bonnell's testimony and document production demonstrate that he preserved all documents and evidence just because he did not preserve them in the format that you prefer does not support a motion for spoliation sanctions. Third, deposition testimony and document production show that only plaintiff and your other client, Lauren Hayden, are the ones who actually destroyed evidence pertaining to the case. Plaintiff admitted to deleting and altering her messages, and both she and Miss Hayden admitted to communicating about the case using the signal app, which was set to automatically delete their messages. True.
Were you
Finally,
were you
you provide
listening?
no details about your long-threatened motion in your meet and confer email below. To the extent it will be based on the testimony or theories of Jesus Pena, the motion is dead in the water. Mr. Pena, who purports to be an expert, has never done a forensic examination of Bonnell's files and has no personal knowledge regarding plaintiff's purported spoliation claims. He speculates at best, and given his track record of copying and pasting his findings and conclusions from the Kiwi Firm's website, his testimony carries no weight. Indeed, we have challenged his qualifications as an expert under Daubert. We urge you to reconsider your proposed motion, or at least provide us with details about it so that we may conduct a proper meet and confer. As it stands now, you haven't even made a prima facie showing that the motion is procedurally proper, let alone supported by any evidence. It is, if you nevertheless file your baseless motion, Bonnell will seek recovery of his attorney's fees in connection with the posting of the same.
This is the kind of, this is why I need an editor, so we can start editing up the drama and shit when it happens.
She didn't file shit. Took too long. Untimely. On September 8th, 2025, what is this? Plaintiff's counsel demanded a forensic examination of Bonnell's devices and insisted that Bonnell cover half the cost. Bonnell objected to plaintiff's demand and responded that plaintiff had not even made a prima facie showing of spoliation such that a forensic examination would be warranted. Thereafter, plaintiff failed to compel a forensic examination and seemingly abandoned any such effort. Plaintiff's motion also violates local rules of this court. Local Rule 26.1 requires parties to raise discovery disputes promptly and authorizes the denial of relief where a party fails to submit the dispute within the applicable time period. The parties' depositions were delayed due to plaintiff's recalcitrance. Plaintiff failed to appear for her notice deposition on November 3rd, 2025, and did not seek a protective order or any other judicial relief to excuse her non-appearance. November 5th, 2025, the court ordered plaintiff to show cause why sanctions should not be issued against her due to plaintiff's failure to appear for deposition. The court ordered Bonnell's deposition stayed pending further order of the court. The cases that the plaintiff cites in her motion also provide no refuge for her untimely filing. Her reliance on the out-of-circuit authorities is misplaced. In fact, those cases support the denial of plaintiff's motion, and Goodman, the U.S. District Court of Maryland, held that spoliation issues should be litigated during the discovery phase, not after it is closed, because reopening discovery after dispositive motions or on the eve of trial can completely disrupt the pretrial schedule, involve significant costs, and burden the court and parties. Notably, plaintiff quotes Eller for the proposition that pursuing discovery after discovery tolls the obligation to file a spoliation motion. That quoted language appears nowhere in Eller and suggests that plaintiff's counsel may have used artificial intelligence to prepare her brief. Oh, no. Wait, is this the one that I found, or is this a different quote? I swear to God, I found at least one quote. I feel like this is a different quote. They sometimes they'll cite a court case, and I go to look for the quotes. Sometimes I stopped looking because every case I cited was garbage. But sometimes the quote was not to be found in the case, which makes it seem like you're AI hallucinating quotes for you're using AI to prepare your briefs, and the AI is inventing quotes or whatever. Plaintiff's motion is a grab bag of complaints about the scope, form, and sufficiency of Bonnell's document production from 8 months ago. If plaintiff believed Bonnell's document production was incomplete, deficient, or not in the format she preferred, her remedy was to file a timely motion to compel. That Bonnell's document production was not in the format the plaintiff preferred or lacked hash values is irrelevant. Bonnell produced all documents in the format he maintained them. In any event, plaintiff never moved to compel production in any other format. Ironically, if anyone's believed his evidence, was plaintiff, she and her best friend, Lauren Hayden, admitted at their respective depositions
Don't forget trans.
about this case via the Signal messaging app, that the app was set to auto-delete, and that they were aware of and intentionally used that auto-delete functionality. True. Plaintiff also admitted to deleting messages that she sent to Bonnell about this case. Also true. She said she deleted one of the messages because she wanted to make the Give Send Go look better, which is just a crazy thing to say. But okay, Chief. At most, any omission from Exhibit E to Bonnell's declarations were inadvertent. Bonnell produced all of his correspondence with the FMC, including all Google Drive links during discovery. Plaintiff herself requested that Bonnell remove the leaked material from view. On November 29, 2024, plaintiff asked Bonnell to delete any and all videos from Discord. Plaintiff instructed Bonnell to redact all the Discord logs that may have contained material. True. Not another one. Finally, plaintiff cites Skanska for the proposition that intent may be inferred from circumstantial evidence where a party's acts evince a purpose of hiding adverse evidence. However, that quotation appears nowhere in the opinion, and once again suggests that plaintiff's counsel relied on artificial intelligence to conduct legal research and draft this motion. Skanska does not hold, or even generally discuss, that intent may be inferred from circumstantial evidence. Skanska actually stands for the proposition that intent to deprive requires bad faith, i.e., the alleged spoliator acted with a purpose of hiding adverse evidence from other parties, and that mere negligence or even gross negligence is insufficient. Plaintiff also cites and quotes Skanska at 1311 and 6 for the proposition that courts have considerable inherent sanctions power, including fees. That footnote does not even concern spoliation sanctions or the award of fees, and the purported quotation appears nowhere in the opinion. To the extent that plaintiff argues that the underlying files associated with Google Drive links were not separately produced, that is not spoliation either. It is at most a discovery dispute that plaintiff should have raised through a timely motion to compel. Plaintiff never filed such a motion. Pena's opinions remain flawed for the same reasons previously identified that depend on assumptions, speculation, and plagiarized theories he pulled from the Kiwi Firm's website, the very site to which Bonnell's private materials were originally published without his consent. What is the implication of redacted asking you to delete logs? It's not illegal for you to delete logs, right? So this is just bolstering your claims the lawsuit is frivolous? It really doesn't matter. Technically, I could have just deleted everything as soon as Pixie sent me a thing, and I could have said that, like, and I would have been within my rights to do so. Like, I could have just said I deleted them a couple weeks ago and nobody would even know. Like, that would just be it. I think it just goes to show the ridiculousness of her claim. Like, I have preserved so much and I have presented so much to them, especially given that Pixie never even bothered to give me a proper production.
I know, we were one away.
She's a lying piece of shit, but that's okay. Why did you link me this, Darius? Wait, what? What even is this? Is this tomorrow? Or is this in the future? I don't even know what the fuck you're... I don't know. Why did you... What is this picture in chat? I'm so confused right now. He's in Korea? Is this
Frost
real?
crystals.
Hold on. I don't believe you. It's like 2 hours ago. What the fuck is this fucking moron even referring to? This disgusting piece of shit who has her hand in all of her little fucking minions' hands in so many people's lives.
Is that what it is?
To try to fabricate some whatever bullshit to save her horrible fucking court case. How the fuck would she link this to anybody? I'm trying to figure out, who does she even think Darius is witness tampering? I don't even know. Abby MC on the Discord call? Bro, she literally sent this 2 hours ago. Why would she send this now? Did Darius talk to Abby yesterday?
Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.
Right in my feed. Alright, what else is going on? Let's see. Okay. Watch a little bit.
That's
of
how I
this.
approach policy: is what's our goal, and how can we actually ensure that we get there as quickly as possible.
Don't care.
Moving on, Mallory.
Moving on. Moving on.
This is this the same one who was just talking to Hutch? So then you have election on very pro
I don't know, like an email back and forth. Like, here's a list of questions. Can you just like answer them, or like do like pre-recorded video for us? What's the point of pretending this is an interview?
She initially defended that policy by saying it's what keeps people safe. But I don't know. Does it? I think it keeps one group of people safe.
I can't watch this. They're reading a script. You see, they're reading a script, right?
Yeah.
Look at their eye. They're just reading a script. They don't even care. Yeah. They don't give a fuck about this issue.
To a group of people, and to me, like, anyone's feelings about that word, I think are not as important as like recognizing what is still happening to people right now, which is a genocide under international law. You know.
How does your family feel about it? How are those conversations going?
Well, you know, it depends on the family. Depends on the family member, and it's tense, but ultimately.
Wow, you can't even answer a fucking question.
Yeah,
What a fucking,
hell yeah.
It's so performative. They're such a performative fucking loser. I wish these people would just be honest. They don't give a fuck about anything. They're just demons. These are Satan spawned people. What a giggly, happy-go-lucky fucking response for the largest fucking virtue signalers on the fucking internet. Just so you know, if this laugh right here was by McMorrow, the majority of report would be playing this laugh nonstop. Look at how disgusting it was when we asked how their conversations went interpersonally, and they fucking laughed when we asked that question. Oh my fucking god. I asked Mallory McMorrow about her support for Israel. Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
Why do you support funding to Israel's defense infrastructure?
Because I don't think anybody should live in fear of being bombed or killed.
Queen?
I would look at, how do we support defensive systems for Palestinians? How would we support defensive systems for Lebanese?
Should they get an Iron Dome too, the Palestinians?
Well, let's talk about that.
Here we fucking go.
Hello. For
Here
anyone who
we
hasn't been
fucking
following
go.
recent left-wing political Twitter drama, or who doesn't keep up with the iconic drag queen Lady Bunny, who posted about
did you
said
notice
drama
though
on
the
Instagram.
fucking manifesto or whatever came out from the DSA, or sorry, not the DSA, the Democratic Party, and nobody gives a fuck. Nobody's talking about it anymore.
You mean the
audit?
autopsy?
Yeah. Where's all the Where's all the coverage?
Well, because people wanted, apparently it sucked shit, but people wanted it to be about Israel Palestine. That's the only thing. That's the only thing
it
people care
wasn't.
about. Well, that's all they wanted.
Good.
Graham, this has been a long time coming. Allow me to explain. After I interviewed Dr. Abdul El Sayed,
How am I
a
supposed
progressive
to get
candidate running for
glass?
U.S. Senate in the state of Michigan, his Democratic primary opponent, Mallory McMorrow, reached out to me saying that she would like.
Holy shit, A+ reference. Why is this streamer cosplaying as Hato Yui?
I don't get it.
You wouldn't because you're too young. You don't get it, Moot.
I'm getting old, man. I'm 29 now.
You clearly didn't watch Gundam Wing. It's the
What did you
tank top or the wife beater.
To be interviewed. I was honestly a little surprised by this, given that Mallory and I have some key policy disagreements. In her race, Mallory is running on the standard Democratic liberal Zionist position of, two-state solution, fund the Iron Dome,
Oh
but
my
not that, but
God.
also no sanctions about it, etc. She's also not running
The
on
way
that
they
overall, but
frame
I wanted to
that
do
is
the
so
interview so I could
annoying.
ask her about those positions. Her team and I set a date and a time for the interview, and after I submitted a topic list, which included healthcare and foreign policy, they canceled and offered no time to reschedule. I will say, and I don't want to assume intention, and I'm willing to be wrong, but I do kind of wonder sometimes if, because of how I present and the fact that I'm so open about who I am.
Oh my god. What?
What?
They just implied.
What's
I'm
wrong?
guessing. I don't even know. Fuck me. Is this like
What's
non-
wrong,
non-binary trans
Destiny?
or whatever?
Yeah, I
Uh-oh.
got
Well,
no
they said
idea.
because this is where they're going with this. If because of the way that I presented who I am, they didn't want to do that. That's what it sounds like. Or maybe I assumed.
what it
Hold on.
sounds
Maybe
like,
I was an asshole. Maybe I just assumed. Hold on. They're gay. Okay, whatever.
I will say, and I don't want to assume intention, and I'm willing to be wrong. But I do kind of wonder sometimes if, because of how I present and the fact that I'm so open about who I am, that people just think I'm like the gay guy, you know, who will talk about gay things.
Like, I also really like how he goes, I'm open to being wrong. What does that mean? Like, oh no, I'm not homophobic, by the way. Like, wait, dude, get me the fuck out of
The
here.
royal
The
echo.
most cancerous thing in the universe is this disingenuous mixing of identity politics and socialism, where they can
Where do
take
I
off
get
one hat
the
and put on the other
glass?
whenever the fuck they want. It's so fucking cringe.
And not much else. And not to be too like Sex and the City about it, but I can't help but wonder if they reached out to me thinking I'd just asked Mallory about like her LGBT record, you know? But in any case, I tweeted that I was disappointed
Where
that the
the
team had
fuck do I
canceled,
get the
and the tweet quickly got
glass?
traction, and within a couple hours, her team reached out, and her schedule had opened back up, and we were back on. So I don't know, maybe an honest scheduling error, maybe not. Make of it what you will. I had my good friend and host of the Majority Report, Emma Vigeland, join me for this interview. Love her so much. And
Oh my
without further ado,
God.
State Senator Mallory Morrow, welcome to It Fruity.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I've been following you for years, by the way, so this is very exciting for me.
Oh, that means so much to me. Seriously though, I know we had like all of this like scheduling
That
drama,
means so
and
much to me.
you know, I know in the
That's,
wake of all of that, you could have very
great.
easily just been like, I'm not gonna do this one, and it would have made sense to me. So it really.
Imagine talking all that shit after actually getting the interview. Like, what the fuck?
Uh-oh,
doesn't mean a lot
Desaad,
to
did you
We're here
fuck
today,
up?
and I also know that like a lot of Michigan voters listen to this podcast, might see this, and I think they're probably really grateful that you're here.
Absolutely, and thank you for rolling with us. I mean, balancing, running a statewide campaign. I'm the state senate majority whip, so I've got that whole job, and I have a 5-year-old. So our schedule, my scheduler is everything. She manages to piece it all together, but I'm really grateful you rolled with us to make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into it. State Senator Mallory Morrow, you are in this 3-person primary race for the U.S. Senate representing Michigan that's really captured the attention of the country. And I want you to help us characterize it a little bit for people who might be hearing about this race for the first time. You have these two opponents, right? On one hand, you have
Hey, don't
Stevens,
laugh at
who
me.
is
Fuck you.
super
You want to test it?
pro-Israel,
It's
sort of
Trimple.
extension
It's Trimple.
Oh, tomorrow I will.
You're lying.
like Chuck Schumer's brand of the Democratic
Where's
Party.
the
I'd say pretty old
It's coming. Ask Jader. He's supposed to be the one to make that.
guard. Haley Stevens was notably booed at her own Michigan Democratic Party convention recently. I'll throw a video in there if I can find it.
Good job. Awesome. Holy shit.
Which is pretty amazing. And then on the other side, you have Dr. Abdul El Sayed, who we interviewed on the show a few weeks ago. Dr. El Sayed is a very progressive candidate.
Nobody's anything mean about him. The other person got booed like a motherfucker. This guy, glowing. We love him.
Wrote a book on Medicare for All, very pro-Palestine. And I think,
Glass.
and please feel free to dispute this characterization, that
No.
most people view you as like someone in the middle. So I was wondering if you could first
Imagine being in the middle of a fucking genocide.
just like define yourself in the context of this race.
For sure. So to put the race into perspective, Michigan has an open U.S. Senate seat. Gary Peters is not seeking re-election. We have Mike Rogers, in all likelihood, the nominee on the Republican side,
Same.
going against Alyssa Slotkin in 2024, lost by only 19,000 votes. The Republicans and Trump view this as their best chance to block Democrats from having a path at taking the U.S. Senate. They're spending, the Senate leadership PAC announced $45 million that they're going to be spending in Michigan, which is more than they will spend in Georgia, Maine, Iowa, Alaska, New Hampshire. So this is it. So it makes sense that this has sort of captured the attention of the country, and we have a fiercely competitive Democratic primary.
You do. I should add, for some people know, sorry, don't mean to cut you off, but it's like, depending on what poll you look at, which are coming out like relentlessly, it's like neck and neck with the three of you.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing. But your characterization is right. What I firmly believe is that the Democratic Party needs a reckoning. That the old guard establishment of the party has really let us down. The first question I was asked when I got in a year ago was, "Would you support Chuck Schumer for leader?" And I said no. I was the first candidate in the country to say so. And what I know is that
Not
in
good enough.
Michigan we have built a very different blueprint. So for me, I know that people want to put us into neat little lane boxes, and I just don't think that's how Michiganders think. We have people in our state who voted for both Rick Snyder, a Republican governor, and Gretchen Whitmer. We have people who voted for Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump. This is a state where you don't have to register by party, and people tend to vote for the person that they like. But of the field, I am the establishment outsider, but with a track record of actually getting real shit done. I'm the only candidate to have beaten a Republican incumbent to get into office. I took on an entrenched family legacy in my first campaign for state senate, and I swung a district 20
This
times in a
is
single cycle and voted
this
Republican
is who
majority.
Will
who
this
Hutch
person
was
engage with a single
talking
thing she
to,
just said,
right?
or is he just
No,
fucking?
right next to that.
Is he just waiting to get
Yeah.
it out?
Okay. Yeah. There it is. Desaad.
I then
yeah.
helped leverage a viral speech that I gave back in 2022 after I was smeared as a groomer and a pedophile by a colleague of mine. Millions of dollars. I supported a dozen other candidates and flipped the entire state senate for the first time in 4 years.
Been there with the groomer and pedophile.
Oh, same here actually.
Yeah, and can I tell you, like, all of your Instagram stories were truly so helpful for us. Like, you may not know this, but a lot of us in the state senate, we've been following you for a while, kind of hitting back on a lot of the culture war bullshit.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, really appreciate everyone who like stood their ground amidst what I think was hopefully like the height of the culture war bullshit. I'm of the belief that like so much has happened since, especially to like wreck Americans' lives economically, that even the most sort of ardent like anti-drag brunch people are now kind of like, I don't got time for that. Yeah.
Yeah, like
sorry.
not like
I don't know
a
if I-
far
Kind of
left.
hitting back on a lot of the culture war
What?
No, I just want to talk about drag story time right now.
bullshit.
Or no, they
Oh
don't
my
want to talk
God.
about culture war stuff. They just want to talk about class stuff and hating America. That's all they want to talk about. Fuck gays, fuck blacks, fuck trans, fuck everything else. I just need to talk about how horrible America is as a country from a Marxist perspective, and about how we're gonna have the revolution and fuck billionaires and the Epstein class and Israel, Palestine, Israel, Palestine, Israel, Palestine, Israel, Palestine. That's what it's gonna be.
Thank you so much.
Anytime you hear somebody on the left do this, we gotta get off it poll, guys. We gotta get off identity politics. It's because identity is super inconvenient for Marxist retards who can only analyze things through one fucking lens,
Where
which
am
is
I
hate
supposed to
America.
get frost
Unironically.
crystals?
Really appreciate that. And yeah, really appreciate everyone who like stood their ground amidst what I think was hopefully like the height of the culture war bullshit. I'm of the belief that like so
Also, none of that had anything to do with what she just said. If she, fuck, I gotta go. Okay.
Go off.
If you're interviewing a candidate, I don't know. She said some things that are interesting about. I'm half listening, but like, why not ask like, oh, well, you ran a campaign and you beat a Republican candidate. What is like a lesson you think that Democrats who are running primaries across the country right now could take from that? What was unique about that race? Or how about you said that you leveraged some viral moment? Well, the media is especially focused right now on social media. What do you think Democrats could learn? What do you think Ken Martin or the DNC is getting wrong about? Or what do you think that there are some Democratic politicians at AOC? What are they getting right about leveraging social
How did
media
you
viral
get your
moments?
majority? What did you pass?
Sure.
Like, there's a ton of
Or, yeah,
questions.
sure. Or you said that you were one of the first Democrats who didn't support Schumer. Oh, that's pretty controversial. Why don't you support Schumer? Like, there's a ton of stuff to mine there, but instead it's like this segue into it's going to be some fucking class bullshit, anti-billionaire bullshit, or Israel Palestine bullshit. As soon as you're like,
Colin Jews.
So much has happened since, especially to like wreck Americans' lives economically, that even the most sort of ardent, like anti-drag brunch people are now kind of like, I don't got time for that, you know?
I will never forget there was a press conference Tudor Dixon tried to hold in the middle of the 22 cycle. She had all these people, it was under the guise of protecting girls in sports, and she made this radical claims about what was happening in the state. And there was this incredible local news broadcast that it talked about her press conference, and then the reporter pressed her, can you provide a single example of somebody being hurt in sports in Michigan? She said no. And then they cut away to a protester who was like, I just need affordable housing. Like, I can't afford anywhere to live. And I think that's why, the speech that I gave then blew up the way that it did, because I made a point of saying people who are different are not the reason your healthcare costs are too high. And we can't let people who are hateful people distract from the fact that they're not actually doing anything to help you.
Yeah, and I want to talk about some of those economic issues, namely healthcare. I know going into this, we want to talk about foreign.
He doesn't want to talk about healthcare, by the way. Well, we'll see. Sorry.
Well, they want to talk about Medicare for all.
Yes, that's it. Nothing else. Medicare for all.
Mm-hmm.
Will you commit today that when you go to Congress, you will watch every single American die before agreeing to anything besides maximally endorsing Medicare for all? Well, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Policy and healthcare, especially if you're representing Michigan on the national stage, then these are things that people really care about. So, Senator McMorrow, with regard to healthcare, you support a single payer option, which is different from something like Medicare for all.
The public option. The public option. Why don't you just say right now that you want to shove a dagger into the back of every single sick person in this country? You disgusting demon witch.
Or universal healthcare. I want to play a clip for you that's gotten some traction of you speaking about.
By the way, public option, it would be the most radical healthcare system America's ever had. Even the ACA was the most radical. Well, I don't know if I would say that over like Medicare or something, but like was a very radical step in a direction towards universalizing some minimum standards for healthcare for the United States.
In elections, we do better.
Public option would be an amazing addition to the U.S. healthcare system if you believe that covering more Americans at
the far left doesn't tend to do very well in actual elections.
Ask you more about that.
Oh, but we're gonna play a clip attacking her having issues with the most extreme healthcare plan suggested anywhere on the planet. Remember, Medicare for all, as proposed by these fucking losers, would be the most extreme healthcare plan anywhere in the world. It would be the furthest left, the most extreme. There is no European country, Asian country, no country on Mars or the moon that has zero copay, has no cost at point of service for any hospital procedures, also covers dental and vision. There is not a single fucking healthcare plan on the planet that is as extreme. As
I looked into this as well. You thought like everyone's like points to Switzerland in these places, and you look at it, and it's like no, they just make you pay for your health insurance. Like you have to have it.
Yeah,
literally.
either that or there are some copays or there are some cost for prescriptions. Bernie suggested plan. I don't know, they've changed the Medicare. I don't want to talk about the plan anymore because it's just a virtue signal Israel Palestine. But the healthcare plan that Bernie suggested would have been the most radical healthcare plan, more extreme than any other healthcare system on the entire planet. But they pretend that it's just
cost.
I don't know. I'm sure it'd be a lot. I mean, you could make shit work then based on what we do now. But it's so cringe that like the only acceptable answer is literally the most maximalist thing, more maximalist than any other planet on the planet. It's so stupid.
Sure. Also, you're new to the pod and learning that I don't have a producer. So when I say like I'm going to throw something up on the screen, what I mean is I'm going to play the video from my phone into the microphone. So
okay, perfect.
Sorry, you're welcome.
Some people conflate Medicare for all with universal healthcare. But Medicare for all, when it's actually defined, is one singular government-run healthcare system that we are all on. Now, I want you to imagine what that would look like with Donald Trump and RFK Jr. at the head.
Emma, do you want to take this?
Yeah, sure. So,
oh my God, and they got to lay up the 2v1. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy.
So, State Senator McMorrow, it feels like the implication of your framing there is that government healthcare programs shouldn't be trusted because Trump and RFK Jr. are leading them. Are there other programs, specifically healthcare programs or social programs, you think should be cut because Trump and RFK Jr. are currently in charge of them?
Oh, does she know? Now I want to know. I can add this to my list of ambush interviews. Did she know that she was coming into the fucking cage match? I wonder if she knew.
She might have just thought it was the Matt Bernstein person.
I don't know.
Especially the dumbest fucking people 93 World Trade Center bombing? No fucking
That's not an exaggeration. Fuck me, dude. These people.
No, that's not at all what I intended. And I fundamentally and firmly believe that we need access to universal healthcare. We need to get there as quickly as possible. In the state Senate, I have led efforts to codify the Affordable Care Act on the state level, so you can't lose your healthcare with.
She's not even listening. She doesn't give a fuck about anything you say. She's gonna follow it up with another hit piece question. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Maybe she will engage with something that McMorrow says here. Maybe.
Existing condition. We repealed our 1931 abortion ban. We
she is writing her answer down.
Cash grant program for new moms and babies. We've expanded access to doulas and to midwives. We've done so much because this is such a big issue. And what I know is that people can't afford to wait. The idea that we should hold out just for one solution to me is just not what I've experienced in governing. The next U.S. senator would be one of 100 members, and the votes for a true single payer system simply aren't there. Now there have been multiple states who have implemented state level public options, and in those states, not only have they vastly reduced the rate of uninsured to next to zero, they've also reduced the cost of private health insurance. That is something that, as we look to how do we get to universal health care as quickly as possible, so people aren't going bankrupt, they are not denying themselves care. I am somebody who graduated from college right into the recession in 2008 wanting to be a car designer. So I did not have healthcare. I couldn't stay on my parents' plan until 26. Having that real public option, anybody who wants to opt into Medicare regardless of age can, while also ensuring if you want to keep your plan through your union or through your employer that you can, I believe is the best way that we can get to universal healthcare as quickly as possible.
We can talk about, I think, the merits of the public option and versus Medicare for all, but the public option would still be run by Donald Trump and RFK Jr. or whoever ends up being a Republican if they take over. So, additionally, the entire...
It wouldn't be as radical. So, okay, so zero engagement on anything. Nice. But
so
it wouldn't be as
like
radical
what?
because the public option is just that, a public option. If it gets too corrupted, you still have private insurance that you can opt to as an alternative. To be fair, I don't actually like McMorrow's answer. That, I don't want to have the government in charge of this because we have a really bad person in government to be fucked. Technically, Trump could fuck up anything no matter what at all. But this is
that
still...
what she actually said in this interview?
In the one that she gave on stage, she was basically saying, imagine if we have Medicare for all, and then Trump and RFK Jr. become president. That is pretty spooky. Because, well, yeah, I mean... Because they could have fucked the public option, but imagine RFK Jr. Imagine they say we're not covering vaccines anymore. Well, this already happened. When I go to the last booster shot that I got, Yum 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 boosters, I want to say it cost me $260. I think that's because RFK didn't they like not cover or not subsidize these anymore? Am I making this up? Anybody know
I'm
what I'm
pretty sure
talking
they
about?
don't anymore.
Yeah, but I think they used to. But I think that
Yes,
they
that's
said
how we got
that
them all.
now, as long as you have to have like a fucking prescription basically from a doctor saying you absolutely need this vaccine, and without it, it's like you have to get like you have to pay the maximal cost or whatever. I think it was like $250 or whatever, or $260 for a booster. I was like, bruh. So like imagine that being in the control singularly of the entire healthcare system. So it's like kind of fair, but not like the best. I don't think it's like the best argument in the world. But it's not like the worst argument in the world, but yeah.
Republican parties against Medicare for all and single payer. So it's almost an assertion that Democrats shouldn't pursue Medicare for all or even single payer because potentially Republicans could get back into power and control it. I mean, that is the implication of what you said.
I don't think that it is. I think that's a mischaracterization.
How would you characterize it then?
Queen?
You talk a lot on the trail, and you want to make some jokes, and you want to help people understand where you're coming from.
Uh-oh.
Went to
She's taking a
got
joke
stuck there with
Uh-oh. Do you think she was somewhat joking? I don't know, actually. Well, now I need to see the full speech. If we're going to say it was a joke. Show me the speech.
This is an administration that has slashed access to mifepristone. This is an administration who intentionally withheld SNAP benefits,
There we
even
go.
though
True,
we
true.
had the funding to pay for it in Michigan. That's 1 million kids who are on SNAP right now. I don't think we should shy away from the incredible damage that this administration is inflicting on government programs. Here in the state, I'm on the Appropriations Committee in the State Senate. We are having to backfill state Medicaid because they've vastly slashed access to funding for us. The one big awful bill means that Michigan stands to lose 13 rural hospitals. We've already seen a birthing center close in the Upper Peninsula. Now women have to drive more than 50 miles to give birth. I don't believe that it's out of line to highlight, hopefully with some humor, we're allowed to laugh sometimes, some of the incredibly damaging
Can I
things
say
that
that's
this
a really
administration...
good talking point I haven't heard any other Dems say?
What?
Maybe I haven't been listening. The one big awful bill.
Oh. Well, it's probably because it's already passed and no one gives a fuck. But no, yeah, I know.
Well, I just feel like Dems need more catchy fucking phrases as stupid as it is.
Yeah, well, the reason why we have no catchy phrases is because we can't like get anything off the ground because one person will say it and nobody else in the media like picks
yeah,
up.
like
We don't have the
they've
whole
shown
fucking
the
the meeting rooms with the conservatives or the tankies who are like, all
What
right,
does he
guys,
mean?
this is what we're gonna say today, like these guys do.
and has done, while we are also advocating for what we would do if we get back into power, what we're going to propose, and how we're going to get there. How do you build a coalition to actually implement a policy that restores healthcare for people as quickly as possible?
That was a decent answer. Not gonna get you anything. Hit her up with the next gotcha question. Let's go.
I think the rub there is just that the framing kind of undercuts the idea of universal programs because the bad party can take over at a certain point. And, I want Democrats to be talking about how government can provide social services for people. I think that needs to be a core part of the brand proposition. And, another part of your assertion was that Medicare for All is, I wrote the quote down, one singular government-run healthcare system that we're all on. Can you elaborate on that? Because Medicare for All is a replacement for private insurance with a single government payer, like Medicare is currently. It's not government-run healthcare.
Sure.
So technically true, depending on the phrasing. I don't know if Bernie specified this or not, because you still have private hospitals. Although at some point, I don't really know if this matters, or if it would eventually change into all government hospitals. Because if you have one singular insurer, one singular payer, then that means that theoretically, and this is what I think they want to do, is you can price control every single aspect of the system. Which I'm not sure, but I think that necessitates at some point that it's all just government ran, right? Like even the medical providers. I don't know 100%, and these people will never detail it because they don't care to actually talk about policy. These are all remember this whole Medicare for all is just a thing that rich white young people online like to throw at you as a wedge issue to attack Democrats. That's the only thing that.
So you don't think it's doable at all, feasible at all?
The way that they talk about it, absolutely fucking not. Because what Mallory McMorrow was talking about here is absolutely true. You expand parts of the healthcare system, you make more people notice that, like, hey, when I have this, it's actually way better than it was before. Remember, like, one of the things that Democrats, if they had any unified messaging whatsoever, when they want to talk about the ACA, they should just exclusively advertise it with Trump clips talking about how good it was that pre-existing conditions are covered and that he wants to solidify blah, 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 blah. Because he came in 2016 wanting to cut, that was the singular Republican issue. They wanted to replace and something, the Affordable Care Act. That's all they wanted to do. And they couldn't do it. But then when Trump came in at the end, I think in 2020, and then I think as he was coming in for his second term, I don't remember if it was coming for the second term or it was the end of his first term, they were like, well, actually, protecting people from pre-existing condition coverage to make it so that they can't get barred from coverage because they have pre-existing conditions. This is actually really good. This is actually part of Trump. I don't know if he called it Trump Care. He started to try to take credit for it, but like, yeah.
That was Obama's big fucking thing.
Yeah, it was one of the big parts of it, yeah. And they should harp on that more, but you can't because you're just busy fighting these fucking losers all day. Ugh. Oh, repeal and replace, that was it.
Private insurance with a single government payer, like Medicare is currently. It's not
yeah, I've heard that
You're right.
talking
I
point.
think it has to eventually become that, no?
It's really
I've taken
fucked
that to
up.
heart. We campaign a lot, and I do talk about this differently now so that it doesn't come across as gals.
Maybe
And you're right,
Hamas
a
should
single
have
payer system,
spent
Medicare
more
for all,
money
people-
on protecting
this was
their
where this
citizens
came from.
Stand on Medicare for all.
than attacking Israel.
Great question. I support.
How come they don't make that argument?
universal health care. Everybody should have access to health care. And I want to tell you why I said it that way. So first of all, I shared my own story that I graduated right into the recession. I did not have any health insurance. I couldn't even stay on my parents' plan until I was 26.
That's the thing that was added by the ACA. You used to get kicked off, I believe, at 21.
And for millennials and Gen Z especially,
I don't think so either.
I graduated right at the sort of.
And they'd find other
39.
places
Base millennials.
to
Hell yeah.
we do not
get
have the job security that our parents
defense-
had. In my first
defense
campaign, my
system.
opponent knocked me, sent out mailers saying, she hasn't had a job longer than 2 years. I was like, well, yeah, I'm a millennial. That's normal. That's just what we have to deal with. So the idea that for generations now who are going to change your job every couple of years, that your health insurance would be tied to your job is ludicrous.
True.
Also, by the way, it prevents small businesses from being able to compete with larger companies because offering comprehensive benefits and health insurance plans and childcare and paid leave is so prohibitively expensive that we have this situation where the larger companies get bigger and they can offer more and they can get the best talent, and small businesses, which make up 90% of Michigan's economy, can't. Now, I said it the way that I said it because some people conflate Medicare for all with universal health care. But Medicare for all, when it's actually defined, is one singular government-run healthcare system that we are all on. Now, I want you to imagine what that would look like.
Nazi
with
guy
Donald Trump
in
and RFK Jr. at the head.
Maine.
You have this man who just last week held a
Okay, I understand the vibe a little bit more. Maybe not the best answer, but this is like a, I guess, it's not a town hall.
Better than
Is
it sounded like.
Sure. Well, and this is like definitely a lot more casual. I thought this was like a formal fucking campaign speech, but I got a little.
Worst
conference
case,
saying that
seeing
anybody who has been
10,000
circumcised
Israelis
probably
dying.
has autism.
There would be a response.
Because they probably took Tylenol.
Step in and
Did they?
invade.
This is a man who decapitated a whale.
Problem?
And dropped a dead bear off in Central Park.
Problem?
Who works out. I don't know if you've seen this, and I know it's the pettiest thing to complain about RFK Jr. about. He works out in jeans.
That is really weird.
There has to be so much chafing. I don't trust that man to make medical decisions for my family.
Horrible misspeak, but.
So we have to get to a place where there is a real, legitimate public option. And if you want to opt into another private health insurance, that you should have the freedom to do that. That is where I stand, and we were 2 votes short when the Affordable Care Act passed of getting that done. Now, it's not just an option, it's essential.
What's your stand on Medicare?
Okay, I gotcha.
Legislation.
So like if the guy made his conservative plan,
insurance plan
could
that would
be.
by law eliminate private health insurance.
The public option is
You could turn into a
Medicare
Fetterman.
replacement for private insurance with a single government payer, like Medicare is currently. It's not government-run healthcare.
Sure, you're right. And I have taken that.
Like Medicare is that's not true. I'm sorry, I don't know what she just said when she said that's not true. Or when she said that like Medicare, older people can still have private insurance. I'm not aware of older people being forbidden from having other medical insurance. Number one, and number two, aren't the Medicare Plan B things? Aren't those also administered by private companies? Like didn't United Healthcare only do Part B things for? Yeah, I think Medicare for all. Or I'm sorry, I think Medicare parts of it can be managed by private companies. So no part of that is true. But again, these people don't know anything about healthcare or anything because this is just so fucking virtue.
That feedback
Yeah,
card.
you
We
don't
campaign a lot,
get into
and I do talk
country,
about this
true.
differently now, so that it doesn't come across
B, C, and D are all supplemental and are private. Okay.
as callous. And you're right, a single payer system, Medicare for all, in the legislation as it has been introduced, it sits in the Congress right now, is a single insurance plan that would by law eliminate private health insurance.
The public option, can you expand on how you would solve some of the same, say, enrollment issues that you see with Obamacare? A Medicare for all plan would promise no premiums or deductibles. It would create a single payer.
No premiums, no deductibles. And I believe also no copays, and I think they usually say no copay and nothing free prescriptions as well. I think they usually say that as well. But like, I'm sorry, where the fuck is this money coming from for this? This is kind of a. Also, they hate the public option, which would be an amazing.
Okay, but why do they hate it?
Because it's not.
Just accelerationism?
Why would you like the public option?
Because it gets us closer.
Retarded.
to everybody.
They don't give a fuck about policy. They don't give a fuck about health. They don't care about covering people. It's about a wedge issue. Okay, it's about creating a wedge issue in the Democratic Party. A public option
Retarded,
is an easy addition to the
retarded,
current
retarded.
United States medical system in terms of getting people who, for whatever reason, have fallen through the gaps, that don't have jobs, they can't get insurance some other way, and the healthcare exchanges are too expensive. They are pretty fucking expensive. A public
So
option
they
would
just
be
care
amazing.
about the fucking they just care about the name and getting it done. That's
Basically,
it.
well, they don't want
They
to
don't
do that.
care
Nobody
about the
supports it.
people
There's no
who would
support.
actually get fixed.
Even the American population does not support Medicare for all. Like this is just like a wedge issue. This is the Israel-Palestine healthcare debates.
That you see with Obamacare. A Medicare for all plan would promise no premiums or deductibles. It would create a single payer, the largest amount of leverage to keep costs down. That is why people want to go big with Medicare for all. A public option is an improvement, of course, on the private marketplace in the Affordable Care Act, but that would still involve premiums and deductibles. Why not go all the way to Medicare for all?
Yeah, I hear you on the vision. I 100% do. And what I know after almost a decade of experience in the legislature is that you need to push as far as you possibly can while building the coalition of votes to actually get it across the line.
So like an interesting follow-up question, if we were having a real back and forth interview, okay? If you want to know how to like get girls to fuck you or to make it so that dates, or you're a girl, you get a guy, fuck it, doesn't matter, okay, right? Is when the person says something, listen to the things that they're saying and then ask a question based on the response that they give, okay? Or if you want to be like a good interviewer, right? If they give you an answer to a question, then ask a question based on what they just said instead of just going down the list to the next stupid fucking thing.
Yep.
It triggers the fuck out of me.
That's
or maybe she will.
true.
Maybe this time she will. My bad.
And
called
the support
fucking
for
paying
a single
attention.
payer system.
So like a good interesting follow-up question might be, oh, okay, well, there are a lot of people that want Medicare for all, and they feel like the public option doesn't go far enough. Maybe you can talk about like, well, how would you message a public option to those people? How would you sell it to those people? Or if you think that a public option gets us on the road to Medicare for all, what is the time frame? Look at that. I guess I don't know. The real question would be, what can we do to get as many Americans as possible on board with a public option, like immediately? Because if these progressives and these socialists, and these Marxist-Leninists, and these spoiled fucking rich kids all the time, they always say, only the American wants Medicare for all. Only the American wants it. Why the fuck don't we have it yet? If everybody wants it, is it really?
Imagine
really
the guy
powerful?
comes out of
Because how much
fact
support
that
exists for Medicare for all? There
oh
should be
my
at least that
God.
much for a public option, and then more, right? So if Medicare for all is just not quite there yet, then do the public option, and then once you have that,
That was
the
a
jump from where we
fucking
are now to Medicare for
misspeak.
all is going to be larger than the
It's
jump from public
Pride
option
Month,
to Medicare for
whatever.
all. So why not push for the public option?
Imagine if the
I just
guy
don't
had a
care. I don't care about the policy or
Confederate
anything else. It's all
flag
just-
tattoo
Isn't
and was a
there.
liberal,
So for
said
me,
he had no
what I
idea
would
what the
just
flag
say,
was about. We're on
cancel various
podcast with
because
Chud
they
the
see their premiums
Builder,
have gone through the roof,
David
and
Duke,
right,
and
they
Richard
don't get sick,
Spencer,
don't
was
go to
totally
the
not
hospital.
racist against
Allowing
black
for anybody
people.
who wants to opt into Medicare regardless of age helps us get on the path to universal healthcare, and also somebody who fundamentally believes states are the laboratories of democracy. This is where we try things out. This is how our country was established.
Oh, I hate
there
that
isn't even
one.
one state who's ever attempted a true single payer system, and it was Vermont. And they abandoned that 15 years ago when they couldn't figure out how to pay for it, and
We didn't have AI back then.
they couldn't figure out the implementation.
Wait, even John Oliver acknowledged this greatest medical plan in the world. Wait,
would
really?
be covered, and they'd be covered.
Oh, 6 years ago.
Well, Bernie's plan is incredibly generous. It covers vision, dental, long-term care, and drugs. In fact, Medicare for All is a misleading title because Medicare requires some co-pays and out-of-pocket expenses.
Oh, true!
And Bernie will excitedly tell you his plan eliminates those.
Under the Medicare for All bill that I wrote, premiums are gone. Co-payments are gone.
How you gonna pay for that?
All out-of-pocket expenses are gone.
He's right. Hospital bills are gone. Co-payments are gone. Cell phone payments gone. Flat tires gone. Geico commercials gone. All the are gone, and all that will remain is universally accessible healthcare and Laura Dern. Finally, life as it should be.
And Laura
It's
Dern.
just more generous than most current private insurance plans. It's more generous than the policy of any single-payer country on Earth, and there is a good case to be made.
Thank you. Good job. Okay, cool. If you don't believe me, listen to John Oliver.
where we now have 3 states who are running public option systems within their states that have gotten us much closer to the goal of universal healthcare. So that's how I approach policy: is what's our goal, and how can we actually ensure that we get there as quickly as possible.
Don't care.
Moving on, Mallory.
Moving on. Moving on. Can I tag team everybody? Oh my God. Just nothing? Why even
Her
do this?
answers are very good.
They should just do like I don't know, like an email back and forth. Like, here's a list of questions. Can you just like answer them or like do like pre-recorded video for us? Like, what's the point of pretending this is an interview?
extremely close to my heart as a Jewish person. As
Oh my god!
There it is.
Bro!
He's Jewish. Oh no.
a taxpaying American, as a human being, is that of Palestine. I was actually just the other night at a UN commemoration of the anniversary of the Nakba in 1948.
Oh my god.
When Israel displaced more than 750,000 Palestinians who still don't have the right to return home. So when considering people who are running for federal office, people who could determine the future of the U.S. relationship to
Like
Israel and
Dave
the effect that
Smith,
that will have
yeah.
on Palestinians, Lebanese people, and Iranians, I know this issue is one people who listen to this show, for one, care a lot about. And of course, you are also running in Michigan, which has a large Arab population, which, that was very consequential in the 2024 election when many of them withheld their votes from Kamala Harris as part of the unfamiliar movement. So I want to make sure people have a really clear understanding of your position. Also, for context, your opponent on one side.
Have a clear understanding of your position. By the way, your opponent, the fake doctor guy, he wants fucking every Jew back to Berkeley. I'm sorry. I shouldn't actually say that. I actually don't know what the El Sayed guy's position is on Israel-Palestine. I do know that on the website, his position on Ukraine seems pretty based. So maybe he does have a realistic position on Israel-Palestine. I actually don't know.
Abdul El Sayed, he opposes all funding to Israel, and your opponent on the other side, Haley Stevens, is endorsed by AIPAC. Enough said there. So I wanted to highlight your approach and ask you about it. On your website, you write, quote, "The path to lasting peace between Israelis and Palestinians lies in a two-state solution with a democratic..."
Oh, big mistake.
Oh, shit.
Two-state is not acceptable anymore, remember.
Jewish state of Israel existing safely along a democratic Palestinian state.
Whoa. K from YouTube. It's so fucking insulting. Listen to Emma feign caring about costs while coasting off for $350,000 private elementary/high school education and then her private lib arts college degree, probably all paid by daddy, obviously.
Two-state solution with a democratic Jewish state of Israel existing safely along a democratic Palestinian state. You write that the flow of aid to Gaza, quote, needs to be restored, that Israel's expansion into the West Bank, quote, must stop.
Not even remotely close to good enough.
And that Hamas must, quote, disarm and demonstrate a commitment to a peaceful and democratic Palestinian state.
Oh my god.
You also support funding for Israel's defensive weapons infrastructure, things like the Iron Dome. Is that all correct?
Increasingly that's changed. And you even see Netanyahu now vocally saying that he himself wants to cut off relying on aid from other countries. So I would support Israel continuing to be able to purchase systems like the Iron Dome defensive systems, but I think it's in the best interest of the United States in reducing that aid and allowing Israel to do that on their own.
But I mean, as of now, though, your policy that you're running on Just So Voters are clear, is that you support sort of the defensive infrastructure. So we wanted to ask you a couple questions about your stance here. First, regarding what a two-state solution means to you and how that could affect your policymaking.
The two-state solution debate is something where I really do think that a lot of Democrats are kind of behind the reality on this issue. So I just want to talk in terms of practicalities. Where would you...
Remember, that's what I said. Two-state, that's the neo-Nazi, Zionist Nazi option, Zion-Nazi option. You cannot be a two-stater. That is the way they won't accept it. You might as well ask for a fucking public option. Are you fucking crazy?
In terms of your ideal two-state solution, draw the borders. Because as you know, Israel's been illegally occupying East Jerusalem and the West Bank since 1967 in violation of UN law. And since then, 700,000 Israeli settlers have moved into the Palestinian territories in East Jerusalem and the West Bank and have stolen Palestinian land. So my question about the practicality of a two-state solution is, how would that happen? Would your scenario require removing the 700,000 illegal settlers living on Palestinian land?
So Emma, what you're asking is, I don't believe the role of a U.S. senator. I believe...
Oh my god! Queen? Hello? Queen?
Of a two-state solution is, how would that happen? Would your scenario require removing the 700,000 illegal settlers living on Palestinian land?
So Emma, what you're asking is, I don't believe the role...
Wait, what was her question? I'm sorry.
Require removing the 700,000 illegal settlers living on Palestinian land?
But by the way, not even the Palestinian delegations in the past have made this request. This isn't even a thing that they have demanded because they don't actually care that much about the... Well, I shouldn't speak for all. I don't know what the fuck anybody wants these days. But generally, Greenland settlers don't really care that much about. East Jerusalem, they do care about. And some type of contiguous country, arguably they care about. Although now they can push for West.
So Emma, what you're asking is, I don't believe the role of a U.S. senator. I believe that a senator should have a role in allowing the United States...
Ooh, she's not happy with that one. She's like, excuse me. What? Remember, for our hostile interviews, right? We're asking for discrete facts, tough follow-up questions, push until the opposing party squirms or cannot answer. Also ambushes with quotes or prior examples of the other party's police behavior. So we had the ambush clip earlier. Remember that one, right? Here's a clip of what you said about this. We've got... Generally, you would have tough follow-up questions, but both of these interviewers care so little about the average human being. They care so little about the average person on health insurance. They care so little about the average Palestinian that they can't really ask any meaningful follow-up questions. It reminds me a lot about with my deposition with Joan, where she couldn't really ask any follow-up questions about any of the technological stuff. So I guess at least we're not going to get that section of a hostile interview, but...
To facilitate. I believe that a senator should have a role in allowing the United States to facilitate the negotiation between the Palestinians and the Israelis that gets to a place where there's long-term peace, security, and self-determination for Palestinians and long-term peace and security and self-determination for Israelis who all live in the region and have to figure out a way to coexist where they're not killing each other. I don't believe that it's the role of the legislator to determine
You got
where those
auto-modded,
or how to
bitch.
coexist, but it should be our role to
You fucked
de-escalate
yourself.
the conflict. I do not support
And I am an
support
egg-headed
Netanyahu government.
retard.
I think
What
that
of
they
it?
have continued to push well beyond what is proportionate, what is rational in response to the October 7th attacks in a way that is horrifying to watch. I mean, bombing Gaza to be completely uninhabitable, the settler violence that you see.
Not good enough.
That while it's
Not good enough.
illegal, they are certainly...
Look at the dead face, the grave and sunken, unholy expression. She doesn't give a fuck about any of this. You bitch, you didn't answer the most pure question. 700,000 Jews need to get out. They need to get out of the West Bank. In fact, they need to get out of Israel completely.
Certainly doing nothing to stop it and continue to encourage it. And Matt, you brought this up particularly related to our state. We have a very large Lebanese population. 1 million people in Lebanon have been displaced. And I know a friend of mine who's running for state senate mentioned to me that his grandmother's home in Lebanon has been bombed 3 times, and that somehow she's still in good spirits about the fact that she is alive when many of her neighbors are not. So for me, I'm somebody, I bring a background in industrial design into how I pursue policy, which is starting with the outcome and then backing into how do you help facilitate making that happen. What I believe is that there is broad shared beliefs across our constituents in both the Jewish community, the Arab community, and frankly,
Watch Emma's eyes. What is she doing? Oh, she has like a paste bin or whatever, or like a word pad of questions to ask from. This is why they can't ask follow-ups or whatever. But it's pretty clear that Mallory, more prepared for this and knows how to answer the question well. I mean, this is a state senator running for US Senate. She's not an idiot. But I don't know if Emma can actually meaningfully follow up with any question on any of these topics because she's just woefully ill-informed. She thinks that everybody from Africa looks like a black, dark person. As like this is the level of foreign policy that we're on with this fucking idiot.
People who are not directly impacted by this, who are horrified beyond belief at the ongoing violence, suffering, chaos, who simply want the violence to stop and see the United States has played a role in continuing the violence when we need to play a role in it.
And I hear what you're saying about you don't want to draw specific boundaries. I understand that. But I think it's important to dissect what a two-state solution would actually entail. Do you believe that that should involve some sort of
reparations? Save your mind. I think for the 20 get to tier 1 subs, buddy.
Reparations for Palestinian land that has been stolen, because increasingly, if you look at the map of the West Bank, it's being taken over by Israel. So there would have to be either a forcible removal or Palestinians would have to be crammed into even smaller and smaller territories.
I love how she says forcible. You mean an ethnic cleansing, right? Just say that. Use their terms, by the way. You want to ethnically cleanse Jews from the West Bank, which is base, by the way. I mean, to some extent, it should happen. But use the right words, Emma. What do you mean forcibly remove? You guys like the term ethnic cleansing now, right?
Yeah, and again, I go back to the United States role. A legislator's role should be in helping to facilitate between the negotiators and something that allows for that peace and security for Palestinians alongside Israelis. I don't believe that is my role to dictate, to put on to the people who do live there what they should be fighting for their own lives.
I want to push back, though.
Oh, what was her response to that? These guys are literally tag teaming her on this, and she's owning them, by the way. And by the way, fuck politics. That is a good answer. But Americans are tend to have no concern about what people actually want in Israel-Palestine. Now, if you know anything about what you're talking about, you technically live that same criticism back at me because nobody over there wants a two-state solution. Okay, but we need to force it on them because fuck them both. But when these guys talk, they both want the other side to get fucked right now. I think that's where they're at. Yeah, that's where they're at right now. Okay, somebody needs to go over there and knock some sense into them. But yeah, this idea that like, oh, there's this peace agreement that they can all agree on. No, you got to force them on some shit right now. But this, whatever they want, is Emma's side is just the eradication of Israel as a Jewish majority state, and likely the ethnic cleansing of the majority of Jews. I hate that fucking term, ethnic cleansing. Basically, making most of the Jews leave Israel.
Where are they gonna go?
Back to Brooklyn, baby. Unironically, that's what they think.
Back to Brooklyn.
Oh shit! Wait a second.
Hold on now.
Has anybody ever brought that up? Well, if we it's kind of like Israel is the logistical server.
Yeah, containment zone.
Do we want them all coming back to America? You didn't like you didn't like AIPAC before. Now you really can't accuse them of being a foreign-funded thing because.
Now they're gonna be pushing all their shit on you.
Oh, true. Oh, okay.
Live there. What they should be fighting for their own lives.
I want to push back though a little bit on
what can you even push back on there? On whether or not you think it's not your job as a senator. It's all of our jobs, lady. We're humans.
It's everybody's job, okay?
Your role as a senator, sort of, you're presenting it as like a little bit detached
How
from the
can
peace
you
process
say
there.
that?
Whereas like we know that Israel's sort of violent and ongoing expansion now.
Detached from the peace process. I'm sorry, what were the past senators that were negotiating peace in Israel-Palestine? How about you give us some historical perspective here?
Went to Lebanon, as you mentioned. It's only possible because of ongoing bipartisan U.S. support. And
That's
so
not
I
true,
wonder
okay.
if you continue to support defensive weapons infrastructure to Israel, how you see yourself as utilizing any of the leverage you could have as a U.S. senator in this situation.
Because it's defensive.
Because like this two-state solution, right?
You're literally advocating for civilians to get fucking killed.
Good contribution, Emma. Thanks.
I think probably everyone on all sides of this issue could agree with that. And so I wonder how you are breaking from the establishment in a way that would materially benefit the people who, frankly, like my tax dollars are killing.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you framed it that way because I think there's a difference, Matt, in how you asked your question versus Emma. One is
you just want a different group of people to get killed.
Who is the other person? Is this a Suzanne Collins race or whatever?
No, this is.
Or who's there's another moderate running against her, and then El Sayed, I think, right? Is it Collins? No, I just said Collins. Who is the other one?
Collins. I don't remember her name. She's not going.
Oh, Haley Stevens. That might be the one.
That's who it is. Yeah.
Well, they might be a queen too. I haven't seen them in interviews, but that person maybe needs to go, okay? Because McMorrow was a queen.
Specific framework of the borders.
I like how they.
Matt, and how you asked your question.
I like how they did a camera cut here just to show Emma being ass-pained. Good job.
And versus Emma. One is the specific framework of the borders of the nations. The other is what leverage does the Congress have to help facilitate this negotiation. I would vote alongside the 40 out of 47 senators who voted in the past Sanders resolution blocking.
No, he only wants to debate with me over voice, which I don't know why. Like
my views on this have evolved because
every time he does, I make very good arguments.
Sorry, genocide on day one. You're wrong.
How
and he backs down on
right
a lot of
have
stuff.
Prosecuted this ongoing war against Palestinians, against Lebanese, against Yemenis, in a way that the United States cannot support. Simply put, the Congress holds the power of the purse, holds the power of funding and resolutions, and that is where I would view my role in coming in is keeping an open door to everybody within our community. Michigan is a very diverse state where we have the largest Arab American population living side by side with a very significant Jewish population.
What is this comment? Destiny. Stevens is kind of a wacko. She said breakdowns on the House floor and is ultra pro-Israel. Also, because she's a woman and will be judged on it, her outfits are also not great. What is that?
And Matt, your question is the universal truth. I was in an Uber a couple of weeks ago, and the driver said almost exactly what you said, which is how can our country afford to continue bombing other countries when we can't pay for our own kids? That is where we need to step in and say enough is enough, and we need to bring this to an end.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned that how in Michigan you have people of different faiths, Muslim, Jewish people, Arab people living side by side.
Is there a single follow-up question to anything? I know there's not, but it's such like an obvious piece. It's so stupid. Oh my god.
That is where we need to step in and say enough is enough, and we need to bring this to an end.
I mean, you mentioned that how in Michigan you have people of different faiths, Muslim, Jewish people, Arab people living side by side. I think it's very American to believe in multiculturalism as an ethic, in that it engenders understanding, and when you can live alongside people who maybe have different views than you, it reduces the capacity for hatred. It's why we don't believe in things like segregation and apartheid, but Israel is an apartheid state. And, when we're talking about who has the right to have land and to live in peace, I mean, we're recording this right now on the anniversary of the Nakba, and the Palestinians have been ethnically cleansed since, you could say 1948, but prior to that, from the land that is now Israel. Do you not believe in multiculturalism as an ethic for Israel and Palestine?
I'm sorry. It's just the whitest, most American kid take. Why can't I think you guys have multiculturalism in the same way in America? We all get along with the multiculturalism, just like in Dearborn, Michigan. Kill me, fam. Oh my fucking god.
Wait, what happened? I missed it.
It's just the cringes. It's just retarded questions.
Shared land would be, in my view, American and also.
Here's a question: are there any other more and functions as well multicultural countries as Israel in the greater Middle East region? Who would you point to as a successful example of a multicultural state?
So the solution that we saw in South Africa that could provide.
Isn't this a Nazi talking?
Cultural though.
Yeah, isn't this a Nazi talking point? Unironically, kind of. It's like an inverted version of it, where the Nazis believe that the Great Replacement and everything has been forced upon the West by Jews in order to weaken the white man. So we should force it. I've never heard the inverse of it. We should force it on them. That is kind of base, but.
Be, in my view, American and also the solution that we saw in South Africa that could provide fairness for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And it may very well be. You know, there are people who have worked on this issue for far longer than I have, and I always try to check my own bias at the door. I can't possibly understand what it is like to live in the middle of the Middle East. I can't imagine what it's like to have my home stolen from me, to have my family killed.
At what point in this interview do you think McMorrow figured out this was hippies? I mean, I think she came in. She must have known it was going to be pretty rough because her answers to all these questions are pretty good. I think.
And
Very good. She's a great speaker.
She's also doing some very, I might say like female coded snarky attacks against Emma, which I do appreciate.
Oh, she did. Yeah, she did.
Yeah. Well, and then this year, like, you know, for me personally, just for me, I like to check my biases at the door. This is really funny. She's another intentional. Maybe I think yeah,
what it is like to live in the middle of the Middle East. I can't imagine what it's like to have my home stolen from me, to have my family killed. And I want to leave the door open. I think it's important for anybody who holds.
Why do these people even have?
I'm not.
You can see her
super
typing on
aware.
her
I
computer, by the way.
should
She's probably
look
trying
it
to tee up her co-host, right? Like the camera's shaking because she's typing on her little keyboard. Like she's not even listening to any of the answers here.
She's like DMing him or whatever.
Yeah, she's not even smart enough to engage with the subject matter. Like,
well, no, because nobody's here to have a good faith conversation. They're just here to get their talking points out. Blah blah blah.
I wonder if this is another DSA printed talking point hit list for these types of interviews. I wish Dems would stop doing. Please stop doing these.
And I want to leave the door
we
open.
should watch the Abdul Al-Sayed interview after and see the difference.
Oh my god.
Who holds the role of a senator as a legislator to check their own bias at the door, be open and objective. And if there is, I've heard from both the Jewish community and the Arab community that you're right, Emma, the two-state solution has been something that's been attempted for a very long time. We have failed to accomplish that so far. Perhaps a multicultural solution where people are living side by side is a better solution, but I want that to come from the people who believe there
it's not going to happen.
My views.
Like, yeah, see that she's right though. She's actually right about that. She said like that needs to happen naturally. It can't be me asserting my views over people. That's why like the only reasonable thing right now is a two-state solution, and if like in generations they decide they want to unify into like one country and live side by side, that'd be fucking great. But right now, the way it stands, the way these two groups of people like see each other, like a one state forced together is a fucking terrible idea. And it's just like these leftists are like, well, I don't care, it's gonna be great, everything's gonna be beautiful, you know, it's just everyone's gonna hold hands and everyone will be happy. And it's like, that's just not, you're not living in reality, my guy.
On residents of another country.
Yeah,
Yep, there it is.
I'll move on a little bit, but I think it's just.
I want to move on. I just think, oh
Yeah,
my
I got
god.
my next question.
Hold on. Excuse me, Mooten, shut the fuck up. We need to virtue signal first about how disgusting her lack of empathy is for the Palestinians.
You know, to me, it's like Israel, who is the occupying power in this dynamic, and as recognized by international law, does not want a multicultural state. Obviously, that is, you know, when they say like, "Oh, you guys want to destroy Israel," what they're talking about
Neither
is
does Palestine, dude.
So,
Neither what?
She should ask me. By the way, I bet neither of these two know.
I want to stay on for a second, like how you could use your leverage as a U.S. senator to stop this violence. Which,
oh my god,
how many Arabs do live in Israel? Isn't it like?
There's the population of the Israeli country, ignoring the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, are 9 million people. 7 million are Jews. About 2 million are Palestinian Arabs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a huge chunk. I'll be honest, I didn't know that at all before I went over to the country, which is kind of crazy. But I guess I haven't gotten to the modern part of my reading yet. But like, yeah, there are more Arabs living in Israel than there are Jews living in every single Muslim country combined times 10. Like, it's not even close.
We all agree has to stop, right? Like we mentioned, you draw a distinction between Israel's defensive and offensive weapons infrastructure, and currently support funding for the defensive part of that, like the Iron Dome. I think a lot of people, though, might disagree with that distinction and say that Israel's defensive capabilities enable their offensive capabilities. Like,
this new talking point is just so fucking cringe. Like, well, if you give them money, because before it was like, we can't allow them to have offensive weapons. This is horrible. You know, fine, they have the Iron Dome, but we can't give them money to go bomb. It was like, hold on, if we give them the Iron Dome, well, now they can spend more money on offensive weapons. We didn't get rid of funding for the Iron Dome. Like, pretty soon it's gonna be funding for literally fucking everything that's even tangentially related to Israel. Like, no, sure, cut all funding to Israel, but not just that. Then we have to go over companies in the United States that are even trading with people in Israel, or even connected in any size, shape, or form with the way to Israel. We have to boycott the boys because that one actor is a Israeli citizen. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Is Israel trying to get off of the U.S. dime?
They would be happy to hop off our military support shit and then go on a fucking rampage. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see what they actually do with that. But.
And say that Israel's defensive capabilities enable their offensive capabilities. Like,
whoever printed this stupid fuck. God, I hate these people.
The Iron Dome.
It enables them to protect their citizens. You sick.
So what would you say to that?
Fuck. Like, they care so much about Palestinian civilian casualties, but if it's an Israeli civilian, well, you know, it's just war, right? The double standard is fucking so gross.
Remember when Morpheus looks at Neo when Neo's in the room, and Neo's like, "I'm not fast enough," and Morpheus is like, "Do you think you being fast has anything to do with your muscles? Do you think that's air you're breathing?" That's the attitude with the law. Okay.
I love that
do you think those words mean anything? Do you think those words actually matter?
Trump just created a $1.8 billion slush fund to pay off January 6th insurrectionists using your tax dollars. No congressional approval, no oversight, just pure corruption. A slush fund created by a lawless president for his insurrectionist followers. Today, I introduced the New York Anti-Insurrectionist Act. This bill would create a 100% state income tax on any New Yorker who collects from this fund. It's simple. If you're
King?
Yeah, let it happen.
Hello,
King.
King shit?
a New Yorker and you take from this illegal slush fund, New York State will tax
Yeah, I
you
heard
100%.
about that.
If you storm the Capitol and you take from the slush fund, too bad.
Neighborhoody. Oh shit, that's
You know what I noticed, too, is this creates
right.
a
Hang
bigger
on.
incentive to hit up that slush fund if you feel like
One
you've been illegally
second.
prosecuted, and try to get money from it, and then you can give it to the wonderful state of New York.
Congress to take on Trump in D.C. Trump just created
King shit.
Is increasing
Zach,
the view of
I want to blow up
even
this
Netanyahu himself that
asteroid
he wants to be able
first.
to do it on his own and doesn't want to rely on foreign aid. There seems to be a recognition that they are going at everything they
Kill him with his
possibly
own
can and are losing the support of the world.
Come
They're losing
on.
the support of Americans. And I will always,
Yeah.
my pledge is always be objective. You know, I am not.
Bro, I'm so sorry. Hold on, just a quick doobie meme.
Mufasa, you know we finally here, right? Well, it's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's Friday again, it's Saturday, Sunday.
Mufasa, 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 Mufasa.
Let's go, let's go. What? 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 Hey, hey, hey. Hey. No, you didn't.
Hell yeah.
This guy would never survive a day in my life. These guys are so lucky they're not under a fucking spotlight. What the fuck are his answers? I think the question was, would you allow a pedophile to describe anal sex in the presence of a minor? And your answer was,
Oh, yeah.
it depends. That wasn't the question. Shake my head. I think discussing sex around them is fine in some context. We're talking about primarily high school students right now. They've gone through sex ed. What the fuck?
Oh, so he's in the fight right now over that.
What? But like, bro, nobody's forcing you to.
Doobie is
These are the
fucking
craziest
nuts,
fucking
dude.
positions in the universe. Why?
That's so insane.
tied
Yeah,
to
like
individual
why
behavior, not
would
willing to
you
change my mind when the facts on the ground change.
stand by
And,
that? Like,
why do you support funding to Israel's defense infrastructure?
Do you want Palestinians to die?
What is, I guess, sort of your positive vision in supporting that policy? You know what I mean?
what up,
I don't
Cryptid?
think anybody should live in fear of being bombed or killed. I would look at how do we support defensive systems for Palestinians? How would we support defensive systems for Lebanese?
Should they get an Iron Dome?
Oh, she's like, should they get
They got an iron dome too. Did I get an iron dome? They got an iron dome. They got an iron dome.
Oh, deactivated.
It's
immediately.
a good iron dome.
Oh, wait, what's wrong? You didn't like that answer? Excuse me? What? We can't engage here? These people can't engage with anything. It's so fucking pathetic.
I
Living
don't
in fear
know.
of being bombed constantly.
I don't
let's work
know.
at the outcome of how do we end the violence, period. But I mean, but then backing away from that, how do we protect people?
I think that's. I'm sorry, but you've
I know.
strayed way too far from my talking point. So actually, let's go back to how Jews are the.
Why we give the Lebanese an iron dome? Why we give Hamas an iron dome?
My worldview, I think, on that.
Because they'd rather, because if you ask them if they want an iron dome, they'd say,
Here's a question.
no, just give
Are you
us
gonna
the
force a
money. We'd
Palestinian
rather
state to
build
not discriminate against
offensive
any ethnic minority, and they
weapons.
have to 100% uphold all Western democratic virtues when it comes to giving people the representation of vote and all that.
Yeah,
So a
like,
million
what about
Christians
Iran?
tomorrow.
Should Iran
If
get an
the
iron
Palestinian state
dome?
is made and 5 million people from the U.S. want to immigrate to Israel, they have to accept them all, and they can't vet based on religion or ethnicity, right?
And I'd be like, if I knew they were going to use it just to protect civilians, sure.
Hold on. Where's? Excuse me. Hold on.
Yeah.
But
I
not
think
when
you're so
they're
fucking smart,
funding
bro.
like
You think
terrorist
you're so smart, but there's actually
organizations,
a really good reason
using
for this. Hold
money,
on.
Okay.
hiding behind their
You don't
own
even know why
weapons to
there's so
like
much homophobia in the Middle East,
fund
do you?
No.
destabilization in
There's
the
a video of
region.
this, God damn it. The go be gay in the Middle East shit is extra wild. Yeah, man, a lot of these countries are awful on gay rights. They haven't had a fucking moment where the gays can go out and protest because the American-backed fundamentalists that were the best at killing the popular secular communist leadership,
True.
and now they run the show. Somewhere there's a Hassan clip where he's like, well, of course they're anti-gays because we keep bombing them. That's the answer.
Let me just
Idiot.
say, that's
Yeah, that's the
an
Hassan
awesome
answer.
talking point. They haven't had the chance to protest.
They haven't had the
There are plenty
chance
of
to
sins. There are
like
plenty of
gay
gay
people,
and trans people. By the way,
okay?
Iran is actually weirdly very pro-trans.
They haven't had the
They find it
fucking
gay, they
opportunity.
chop your dick off and become a woman. I'm not joking. That's
Bro.
why.
I know.
But I'm sure that
If we left them alone, you don't understand. It's America's fault they don't like gay people. If we left them alone, just watch tomorrow. They would love gay people, okay? They'd say, gay people, come here. We all want you here now, okay? They stopped bombing us. Now we can love gay people.
you probably didn't know that. they're very homophobic, but
Actually
they are very pro-trans.
Weird.
A lot of cultures are actually very pro-trans.
No, that's not what's happening in Iran. They're not
Why
pro-trans.
we pretend oh, it's because he's a stupid fucking American, or the second worst thing, a Turk.
Maybe to a fault at times.
Doesn't it they believe that like if you're trans,
maybe to a fault
if
at
you're
times, like,
gay,
forcible
you're
gender
actually
reassignment is
trans? They like
American
force a
culture, I think it's so
transition,
irrational.
or I've heard that. I don't know if
You can
that's
just
true,
think
but I've
about it,
heard
right?
that.
It's like the idea of being trans.
Oh shit, he's talking to Asmongold here. I just realized
He was
it.
talking here, yeah. And is like super old, like Shiva, right? Another good example. So I think that that's true.
There's a concept of third gender in India, Pakistan, and many other places as well. So.
And I think one that Emma has been talking about as well is like multiculturalism, where we live amongst each other and where multiculturalism and a respect for one another keeps us safe. And so, like, I don't.
I'm so sorry, bro.
I don't want to talk about like everyone getting their Iron Dome and everyone arming up and everyone getting more and more defensive and offensive and everyone getting more violent. And everyone, I just did an episode that actually comes out today, which I'm very excited about with Naomi.
Oh yeah,
about
the fake
Tucker
doctor,
Carlson's
yeah.
worldview that he has been espousing as of late, and he does view the world that way,
State-run
where,
brothels.
America,
Jesus
More girls are
Christ,
left.
dude.
God, I'm glad Ukrainians aren't
Jesus
homophobic. I'm sorry, I don't
Christ.
recall supporting a homos for Ukraine movement or pretending otherwise. Motherfucker. What do you mean?
should bunker down and have our white Christian nation, and everyone else is bunkered down in their own very racialized nations as well, with like
White
every single Arab
Christian
state. Which is
nation.
curious. If we want to go full fucking Nazi, we can go full Nazi here. I'm sorry. What are the most diverse and tolerant states in the world right now? Are they Arab majority states? Are they Muslim majority states? Or are they? I don't want to say the whole white Christian one. Like, come on, let's be real here.
White
bring up that. If you're a neo-Nazi, we can do that.
Tons of weapons, and we're all segregated, and like I just find that to be such a grim reality, you know. And so I think like I'm wondering if your politics could come from a different place philosophically, where it's not like what about funding also the Palestinian Iron Dome, where it's about taking away the Iron Dome from Israel, this thing that, in my opinion, allows them to continue operating as a
We're
genocidal
gonna take
apartheid
their
state.
dome away? This is crazy. This is a crazy talking point. Just let them get bombed, I guess. Forehead.
No, what you just said is the forehead talking point, kind of, because they wouldn't just get bombed. There would be no more Palestinians in Gaza. Israel would remove them. You think any country on the planet would tolerate rocket after rocket after rocket pointing to the city of
that's true. They would just go kill them.
It would be gone 100%. Not only would they be gone, every other Arab state in the region would be like, oh, what are you gonna? We don't have to worry about it anymore. 100%, yes.
No, and I think where you and I find agreement here is exactly that. Ideally, we should be at a place where we're not armed to the teeth against each other. We are a multicultural society in our country, and yet we have more guns than we have people in the United States. I sat on the state senate floor below.
Oh boy, here we go.
15s and full tactical vests, who I promise you,
don't let
are
me get away from
dead. That is not the world that I want to live in. The goal, yes, is let's have multicultural societies where we're not attacking each other. I do start at that place, and I want to make sure that I go in recognizing that I would have responsibility. I have responsibility today as a state senator to check my personal beliefs at the door sometimes and make decisions that are in the best interest of protecting as many people as possible.
And do you think the Iron Dome is in service of that?
Right now, yeah.
I would love to get to a place where it's not needed. Period. For anybody.
Do you believe Israel has committed and is committing genocide?
Oh God.
Yes or no?
Bro, I need a yes or no.
Yes or no. Yes or no.
Bro, oh my God.
Yes or no.
These interviews.
Yeah, we went through this on our campaign based on
Not good. The answer's not gonna be yes. Uh-oh.
the legal definition. I've said this. I do believe that it meets the definition. What I also heard in response from many of my constituents who had family that they lost in the Holocaust is there's such a personal, visceral reaction to that word that moves us apart from each other. And when I believe that most people in both the Jewish community and the Arab community and people who are not impacted want the same outcome, why would we spend our time debating whether or not you agree with the definition of a word and recognizing we have the coalition who wants the same thing? How do we keep them together?
I think that the definition
Bro, you don't want to
I think the definition is agreed upon by international community, and they all said it's a fucking genocide.
is important because of international law, and we're
Like, not that you know none of, by the way.
seeing right now the Trump administration and frankly the Biden administration was
True.
Also a part of the degradation
Yep.
of international law and the
Yeah.
rules-based international
True.
order. And
Rules-based
there's an
internet,
NPI poll from August 2025. This has probably increased since then. That 77% of Democrats, over half of independents, believe that Israel is committing genocide.
That's
Don't
crazy.
you think that it's important to articulate that just to support international law at a time?
Yeah, how's that support of international law working right now? What has that done for Donald Trump? Maybe we should focus on building a real coalition of people in the United States that actually have a strong opinion with actionable policies that we can enact. If we actually give a fuck about dying Palestinians, I know for people like Emma, I know that she like probably gleefully cheers every time she sees another beheaded fucking Palestinian baby or whatever because it makes her so happy because she'll have talking points the next day for a stupid fucking YouTube podcast. Like, if you really actually want to solve the problem, it's never been done this way. It's never been done by screeching maximalist positions at anybody. Nobody's done it. They pretend Nelson Mandela did. He didn't. They pretend that Malcolm X was the reason why it happened in the United States. He wasn't. They pretend that like this has never been. Well, that's not true. I'm sorry what I've said. Maximalist positions have been held by people that do genocides if they want to do that. So Turkey, Germany, probably India. I don't know. Fuck 'em.
When the foreign policy of the United States, and by extension Israel, is might makes right.
I think it is important to listen to everybody that I would be asking for faith and trust to represent and to build the coalition that we need to hit the same goals. There is no doubt that war crimes have been committed. There is no doubt that the pain
Oh, so you can say war crimes, but not genocide?
and suffering at the vast expense of our taxpayer dollars, Matt, to your point,
G-side.
needs to end. And I want to keep my people together.
Don't care. Next talking point. Can we get one more big talking point here?
When so much of the emphasis is on how to turn the heart.
Yeah, I
don't care.
understand it. I really don't with like the genocide label. But I think to me, identifying it as a genocide is important to, like I said, give an internationally understood and legal label to what is currently happening.
Oh, because that's like so important. That's like because it's going to help so much.
To a group of people. And to me, like anyone's feelings about that word, I think are not as important as like recognizing what is still happening to people right now, which is a genocide under international law, you know?
How does your family feel about it? How are those conversations going?
Well, you know.
Except it hasn't been ruled a genocide under
family member, and
international law.
it's tense, but ultimately.
Wow, you can't even answer a fucking question? What a fucking... It's so performative. They're such a performative fucking loser. I wish these people would just be honest. They don't give a fuck about anything. They're just demons. These are Satan-spawned people. What a giggly, happy-go-lucky fucking response for the largest fucking virtue signalers on the fucking internet. Just so you know, if this laugh right here was by McMorrow, the majority of report would be playing this laugh nonstop. Look at how disgusting it was when we asked how their conversations went interpersonally, and they fucking laughed when we asked that question. Oh my fucking god.
It
depends on the family
member, and it's tense. But ultimately, I assume you're asking that because I'm Jewish, and you'd be right for that because it's especially intergenerationally, it's a tense conversation because people have different levels of Zionist indoctrination and also different
sort
of proximities to the Holocaust and the timeline. But I think though the difficult conversations that are happening within my family are less important than the reality of what is happening to the Palestinian people.
So we've had those same conversations. My husband is Jewish, and though I'm a step removed, there are certainly really, really hard conversations.
Wait, what do you mean?
Generations
Why is she even running? Just leave
I
her
respectfully
state.
disagree, and I believe the responsibility of a legislator, somebody who represents. I'm asking for the trust to represent.
Turkey didn't commit a genocide. It was the Ottoman Empire. Oh, Ethiopian Hussein. Find me a Turkish person who wants to say that the Ottoman Empire was equally ran by Turks and Arabs. Let me know when you found that person, please. I would love to hear that.
10 million people in a very diverse state that is a purple state that could very easily go to the Republicans. My greatest joy in this job as a legislator is when I help people one-on-one and when I get to be a part of their story. And keeping coalitions together is hard work. And I believe we can respect international law,
Don't
the
care.
ICC, and have
Don't
a legislator
care.
who respects
Emma?
Next talking point.
Hit her up with the alley-oop, Emma. Come in here.
Their stances and understands that in order to move forward to the goal that I think all of us on this call share is to keep a state like mine together and to not let this issue tear people apart, because if we let it tear us apart, we get Mike Rogers. Trump get the win. And there is no love lost on the other side of the aisle here with an administration that allowed Benjamin Netanyahu to convince us to go to war with Iran.
I think, because we're still in the primary, especially, I'm pressing, Democrats a little bit more on this because we're not yet really talking about the general. And, you say...
Oh, so you're going to press less on this in the general? Funny joke, fucking moron.
It's more important to keep the coalition together versus sort of fracture over this one issue. But I don't know. I think for me... and I'm not trying
to be what?
But I don't know. I think for me, and I'm not trying to be antagonistic at all, I promise. But sort of when I look at what a candidate like Dr. Abdullah Sayed is doing around this issue, it doesn't feel like we actually have to abandon dignity and actual justice for Palestinians to keep that coalition together. I mean, like I said at the beginning, you guys are all neck and neck.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I don't think we need to either, and that's not my goal at all.
I guess, on this topic, we've exhausted it a little bit, but you also have groups like Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and the Israeli organization itself, B'Tselem, calling it a genocide. So I read that out, Human Rights Watch. We've exhausted it a little bit, but you also have groups like Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and the Israeli organization itself, B'Tselem, calling it a genocide. So I read that out just because I think...
The Israeli organization itself, B'Tselem, she doesn't know what B'Tselem is. B'Tselem is literally founded for, Palestinian rights watch group in Israel. That's not just like a random Israeli. That is that's like saying, even in the United States of America, the U.S. organization, the NAACP, feels like African Americans. Yeah. Like, do you even know what you're saying?
That's the whole point of it.
It's so
that's
fucking
why
gross
it
how
exists.
little these people know about any fucking thing they're talking about.
It's the same thing. Like, it's like when somebody's like, oh my god, even Israeli journalists are saying this, and then they send me something from Haaretz. I'm like, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about, dog.
I read that out just because I think that when we're talking about...
I'll donate $20 million to your campaign.
It doesn't mean I dismiss it offhand, but like,
ask her, what is B'Tselem? I'm just curious.
You saying even Israeli journalists believe this, and then sending me something from Haaretz tells me so clearly that you like don't understand anything about like the political landscape in Israel.
It's reflective in polls and reading polls and asserting how campaigns should be run based off of polls is not a way that you win in a state like ours. And Matt, I hear the
both polls and morality. Both polls and international law and morality.
And
morality, international law. That's how you win elections in the United States. That's why Donald Trump won the last election.
Talking about morality, Trump
put an
AI
Queen.
It's almost like there's free speech there. Holy shit.
With a crazy ad and won the election. Say it.
Trump Gaza and has told us we cannot afford daycare, we cannot afford Medicare, we cannot afford Medicaid. And not only that, but that states should tax themselves even more to pay for those selfish things so that we can pay for a war that he took us into because Netanyahu convinced him to do so. And every single Republican in the House and the Senate refused to vote on the War Powers Resolution. So I agree. You'll find agreement. And I live and serve in a deeply purple state that has to focus on Mike Rogers and the tens of millions of dollars that will be funneled into this state because it is a coalition of as many people in the state as possible. You don't win in Michigan without independents. You don't win in Michigan without Republicans. So it is keeping the Democrats together, keeping the Democrats engaged, keeping our diverse communities together to recognize we have the shared goals. We do. And it's hard work and it's work that I'm in every single day. So hopefully, there's not disagreement here, but it is the work every single day in keeping our people together so that we don't lose a seat to somebody who would rubber stamp everything Trump wants to do, who will certainly not end this war or secure security for Palestinians anytime soon if it were up to him.
Yeah. When was this stupid fucking tweet?
Yeah, somebody get me those clips. I want to watch him fucking lose
I was
his
recently
shit.
speaking with a Palestinian woman who told me that she in fact hated Biden more because he pretended to care while carrying out a genocide of her family. Oh my, give me a fucking break.
And I'll wrap up. I know you probably have a busy day running a campaign. I think neither of us would argue that like every Republican is doing all of this and worse, much worse. And none of us would argue, in favor of anything Trump is doing. I just think especially, during primary season when we are, being given the chance to put our, what we think is our best Democrat forward, that we're, pushing you on some of these issues because I think something that I'm sure you've heard is that a lot of Democratic voters feel like we have an establishment that isn't fighting sufficiently.
And I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
This is a party that's not meeting this moment, not only on this issue, but on voting rights, on civil rights, on childcare and healthcare and housing. There's so much at stake here, which is why I'm doing what I can. I believe, truly, that we built a blueprint in Michigan, in the legislature, when we flipped control of the legislature for the first time in my entire lifetime, that we can take with us to Washington. And build a party that knows how to fight and knows how to win and knows how to actually get things done for people.
Totally. And I just want to mention, as a New Yorker, I got to rep my city and, push back on the idea that we have to make these sort of like middle of the road concessions on some of these issues, especially like the humanitarian issue. We had
Because Mamdani won for mayor of New York City? New York City? You think that's a purple? You think it's a purple city?
Mayor Zoran Mamdani, who just won in my city, and 1 in 10 Mamdani voters also voted for Trump. There was a small but mighty MAGA for Mamdani coalition. And you know what? It's confounding. But
It's like Karen Bass winning here and being like, "Oh, mayor of Los
Literally, he did walk
Angeles."
back. Remember, globalize the Intifada? He definitely walked back on that one. What do you mean? He didn't concede on anything.
Walked back on his son too.
Whoa!
encourage you to do the same. Mallory, thank you so much for joining today. I really mean it. It's a pleasure to be able to talk to you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you to you both.
Cool. And that is our interview. I've been really enjoying talking to candidates, honestly, more than I thought I would.
Why? You're not even having a conversation with them. You're just doing a slop hit piece. You're running out a list of questions.
And making these sort of like auxiliary episodes has just been a sort of nice creative outlet for me, in addition to like the conceptual episodes we make over here. I want to thank Mallory again for coming on and giving us her time, especially given that she probably knew we disagree on some things. She was gracious for that, truly. And I owe it to you, the listener, to say that I struggle to make sense of some of what Mallory McMorrow put forth here, particularly as it pertains to the funding of Israel's defense infrastructure. She initially defended that policy by saying it's what keeps people safe. But I don't know. Does it? I think it keeps people safe. Why?
I can't watch this. They're reading a script.
So his fucking
script, right?
solution, or their fucking solution to it keeping one group of people safe is, we need to make sure no groups of people are safe. What the fuck kind of thing is that? What kind of thinking is that?
Look, they're just reading a script. They don't give a fuck about this issue.
Particularly as it pertains to the funding of Israel's defense infrastructure. She initially defended that policy by saying it's what keeps people safe. But I don't know. Does it? I think it keeps one group of people
They can't even read the whole script at the same, and they have to do a jump cut.
While enabling the ongoing violent oppression of another group of people. But toward the end of the conversation, she backed away from defending that policy on its merits, instead saying, sometimes we as politicians must put our personal beliefs aside for the sake of building a larger coalition. And okay, but as Emma said, there's tons of emerging data that shows continued aid to Israel is no longer a popular position in the Democratic Party. To which Mallory said that she isn't running a campaign on polling data. Fair enough. But if you're not running on polling data, and you're also
not running
off of your belief system,
what are you running
then
on?
I struggle to make sense of where exactly these policy positions are coming from. And to me, it's this opaqueness in decision-making that is the frustrating thing about the Democratic establishment, which Mallory claims to be. Anyway, that's my show. Hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed being here on an
We didn't. It was trash. Emma Vigilant corners Mallory McMorrow on single-payer healthcare.
But you gotta bring up the fucking Abdul thing too.
I do you support.
This is the thing. Do you see how they're doing the funnel? This is what I'm talking about. You do the interview, you get the talking points, then you run it through your medium, the medium part for the media, or whatever the reactions to it. Now she's lucky because she gets to direct her own interview, and then all the talking points are going to be there for social media, and then you'll see these talking points used to attack McMorrow, that all of the El Sayed supporters are going to be using for the next, couple weeks until the next interview cycle.
For funding to Israel's defense infrastructure.
The problem with an Iron Dome for the Palestinians would be the tanks, and that would come in the invading military. But be that as it may, I'm calling for an Iron Dome for the Palestinians, maybe even higher than that on that scale. I'm not going to vote for anything, for any authorization of military spending that doesn't provide that.
Yeah.
Then you're calling for it. It would be less than that, right? You're not voting for it. And then you are having a conversation about calling for it.
Yes.
And then you have just a conversation not involving the vote.
She really thinks she cooked in this interview. She sounded like she was a high school student doing an interview. That's what she sounded like. Like, I have to do an interview, I'm going to write down the questions I'm going to ask the interviewer, or the interviewee. And she really thinks she cooked.
And you have, let's talk about having the conversation.
Yes, I love him. Matt goes, well, I mean,
I don't know. They might not. I don't think it matters to them.
Yes.
They think it's all because the U.S. funded it and it wouldn't exist
She's not
without
even in the clips they're playing. Look, you can see when somebody's typing on a laptop because the camera shifts because it's all one thing.
Senate, I have led on efforts to codify the Affordable Care Act on the state level so you can't lose your health care with a pre-existing condition. We repealed
One second. I should just say, there is one healthcare system that has been cut by RFK Jr. and Donald Trump and the Republicans, and that is the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act subsidies were rolled back and the expansion on the Medicaid. Like, if you wanted to develop something that was protected from two politicians being in charge of it, it wasn't Obamacare. Because all they had to do was cut back on subsidies to private health insurance. Because it's so narrowly tailored that you don't have the widespread revulsion that would come if everybody in the country was like, I'm on Medicare. Instead of just everybody over the age of 65. I'm on Medicare. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is like your kid made a dog shit argument. You brought your dad to beat the other kid.
I'm Medicare. That's the point. That's why they don't want it to be.
Wow, maybe you should have done the interview instead of letting this fucking moron do it then.
Everybody, not just to have health insurance, but everybody on the same program and the same sort of playing field.
Understand where you're coming from. This is an administration that has slashed access to mifepristone. This is an administration who...
Okay, she clipped that. There wasn't somebody like us going to her speech and clipping it. They clipped that section and put it up on Twitter themselves.
Yep.
Wait, what?
Going to her speech and clipping
Basically,
it. Okay, she clipped that. There wasn't somebody like us going to her speech and clipping it. They clipped that section and put it up on Twitter themselves.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like what she's saying is you got no sense of humor, Emma. I think the joke is funny.
I honestly forgot that's how she answered it because I haven't seen this since we recorded it on
Well,
time.
it's because you weren't paying attention.
I know, but yeah.
That is stunning.
Live and learn talking about the interview. Why would I want to listen to Pisco defend the two dipshits interviewing them the entire time and about how base it is to constantly ask questions about Israel Palestine because it's the most important thing to every single one. We'll watch this one tomorrow. I have a meeting in 15 minutes. Oh, fuck. I'm not going to get triggered by this.
Pro interview. For example, did you guys all watch that interview with Matt and Emma?
No. It was not as like...
Matt Bernstein and Emma Vigeland. The tone wasn't super aggressive, but the subtext was. Like, they were definitely kind of dripping with contempt. And just like, I wonder if McMorrow understood that she was walking into an interview with two people who probably think that she supports genocide and whatever else thing they're going with. Same thing as Slockett. I'm not sure if she was aware of the venue that she was walking into and breaking points. And, it's not that she never did these kinds of interviews, but I think it was trying to point. But
I think they're totally there, but I wanted to frame this about the insurgent left of the populist left versus the insider left of the more normal left, because the people who are frustrated come on the most are people who are like state chairs, and are the insider left of the more normal left, because the people who are frustrated come on the most are people who are like state chairs, and are people who are inside the DNC, and are people who I think can be classified as like...
Doesn't matter. The frustrations are totally different. They're a totally different set of frustrations. And to pretend like it's the same is not true. I think people are frustrated at Ken Martin for the lack lack of leadership, for kind of how disappointing the autopsy was, for how disappointing literally everything surrounding it, his statements about it a long time ago. But I don't know if party leaders are. In fact, I don't believe that people in the Democratic Party actually are frustrated with Ken Martin. Now, maybe they are, and I've just missed this over the past couple weeks. But the last time I saw articles about it, it was always just like an anonymous person said, reportedly anonymous people in, anonymous people whatever. But like I don't see that anywhere. I haven't seen it like in any solidified form.
Like hater of Dems, these are the pod safe people. These are New York Times type people. So I don't
the pod safe people. Oh my
really think that the criticism of Ken Martin can all be dialed into awareness about how bad faith some lefties are.
Oh, that's right. But the initial major grievance, I would say, was driven by the insurgent left with the Gaza narrative.
Yep.
And I would say the pod safe guys are aligned with them. But
yes,
you're right, the state
correct.
party,
That's
the
correct.
state have been.
What? The Obama guy? You know how long ago Obama was president? 10 years. It's gone. We're done with Obama. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, definitely. At this point, I'm not saying they're like tankies or whatever, but I think that I speculate.
That's like most of the Democratic Party.
That's most of the Democrats.
No, it's not. God, I hate this show. Live and learn. Get me out of here. Okay, Jesus fuck. I can't. I'm gonna get too triggered watching these fucking retards run cover for this fucking tankies. Okay. Wait, have you ever seen the Emma Vigilant Africa thing?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you remember when the Cleopatra thing happened and there were a bunch of conservatives that were mad that Cleopatra was played by?
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
I remember that.
The notion that Cleopatra was black is silly. Again, you're allowed to do this in Hollywood because, of course, the only thing that matters is our weird, parochially American perception of what race matters. It's super, super strange. By the way, we actually have sculptures of Cleopatra. It's not as though there's like nothing to indicate what Cleopatra looked like. There's a Roman sculpture of Cleopatra from the mid-1st century.
First of all, it's the left that's being parochial, not the guy that can't go on a map and see which continent is Egypt on. Ben, facts over feelings. Ben Shapiro doesn't understand that,
it's
like,
the north of Africa.
Like
These are serious political
they think that every country in Africa is like are like rappers. Like she thinks that all of them look like Tupac and Jay-Z, and like I just actually can't even believe. I don't know if you've commented on politics ever, if you don't know anything about like the Middle East, or like it's impossible to have. This is just such an unbelievable statement to make. I don't know, bro. I will always hate her.
I don't know. I haven't looked at the recent polls. Neighborhood's clued in on that usually.
Hey, so are you aware of the context of this interview?
The McMorrow one?
Yeah, there's a little bit more context to it.
I mean, I heard what the guy said at the beginning, where they were going to do it, and then they apparently missed each other. They had to cancel, and then he claimed it was because he thinks they're homophobic and didn't like his nail polish or something, and then they rescheduled it, and then they managed to do the interview.
So there's that. So like, I just want you to take note of the intro and the outro is a very different tone than the interview itself. He's obviously like much more kind of friendly and sheepish during the interview, but then like very, very hostile in the intro and the outro. But the real context was he was on Twitter like hyping up this interview, basically accusing her of like soft supporting a genocide, and then accused them of canceling the interview because they were afraid that he was going to press them on genocide.
Okay.
So it's just a little extra context that makes the whole thing a lot more funny. But just take note of the contrast of the tone.
We already finished it. We're going to watch the El Sayed one tomorrow just for memes. But like one thing to take note when you're watching these interviews, I don't know if you noticed this or not. But
let's hope he doesn't turn out to be an actual fucking nut.
Israel Palestine or related to Medicare for all or anything. They don't know anything about it. And you can tell because when they're running down their like hit piece list of questions, notice that they don't do a single follow-up or engage with McMorrow on anything she says. It's just like they ask a question, she gives sometimes a decently well thought out answer even, and then they just go to the next one and say, okay, moving on, and that's it. They can't actually have like a back and forth engagement on literally anything being said besides like the maximalist positions that they have, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's really, really, really embarrassing. It should be fucking humiliating if you're in media and you get the opportunity to interview people that could be, senators, and like this is the quality of conversation that you're capable of having. It's insane.
It's not even like interviews. It's just like
it's right. It's a hit piece list of exactly. Yeah, but
so I think I'm gonna have an opportunity to interview McMorrow myself, and I want to ask her if she's aware of like the dynamic. Like I just want to ask her straight up, like, do you guys understand that these people like literally fucking hate you?
Sure. I think a really good question, if you have the opportunity to talk to her, I think a really good question is how do you balance out like the online presence that live left people are trying to have in purple districts with the further left media apparatus that exists online, because she has to win elections in Michigan, right? So like, but she's not giving an interview in Michigan. She's giving an interview to an online audience that might be from across the country that has much different positions than what she has to represent in her state. So how do they pick those interviews? What's her strategy for approaching those interviews? Like, I'd be really interested to hear her walk through that, because especially like when you have people, God, the two interviewers, Emma's just such a fucking idiot. She's so stupid. I don't know where that $50,000 a year for her fucking grade school education went towards, because she didn't learn a fucking thing. Like their inability to engage on any part of that just drove me crazy.
Yeah, that would be the grown-up way of asking the question. I'll probably be mature about it. But no, you're hitting on the same kind of thing that I'm curious about, because I just don't know if they have like, my theory is that they need to hire more Zoomers. I thought she handled herself really well.
She definitely did,
yeah, the campaigns definitely need. I don't know how many like Zoomer staff they have that are aware of the vitriol, like the level of the vitriol. Like I have a sense that the candidates probably understand that there's some hostility from like the insurgent populist left, but I don't know if they know how deep it goes. And it kind of reminded me of the interview with Slotkin. I think like both women handled both of those interviews really well. It's another one of those Rorschach tests where like the left and Majority Report fans think that Emma like handed McMurrow her ass, and when I watch it, it feels like I'm watching an adult try to explain really basic concepts to teenagers or something.
It definitely feels like a high school interview. Crystal Ball, at the very least, she's much more, I hate to even say it, she's much more intelligent than Emma Vigilant is, who can't engage on any topic. She's completely over depth. Crystal Ball could at least do like challenge follow-ups and stuff. But yeah, that interview.
I hate that I share my last name with her.
I really wish that these guys would have open conversations sometimes, because like they really are pushing for maximalist positions that even people in the Middle East, even in Israel, Palestine, would never push for or don't want, because they're totally unworkable. But whatever.
Yeah, that's a whole other debate. But yeah, I just wanted to make you aware of the context, because it's pretty funny. He was talking so much shit on Twitter and on the intro and the outro, and he had to bring in Emma to be like a bulldog during the interview. So
sure.
Yeah. All right, man.
I don't remember when they did this interview, but it was released 9 days ago. This was their interview with one of 3, I think, competitive Democrats that are running in the race. The famous / infamous, depending on how you look at it, our fake doctor, Abdul El Sayed. I don't like the fact that this guy is around Hassan, obviously. I think the fake doctor stuff is kind of cringe. And I don't like the sloppy stuff. But the positions on his website seem okay. So I don't think I hate this Abdul El Sayed guy yet.
There is one man in the United States that Democrats must defeat if we ever want to come together as a country again. According to Democratic congresspeople like Cory Booker and Alyssa Slotkin,
he's going to say Hassan Piker, isn't he?
Brad Schneider and John Fetterman, as well as liberal media pundits like Jake Tapper.
Controversial, if not outrageous, if not bigoted.
He's a bigot, a danger to the soul of America, an outrageous man with a checkered past, whose power in American politics must be curtailed immediately. He's not the president, you silly dum-dum. He's leftist Twitch streamer Hassan Piker, a man I could uncontroversially label the single most popular and relevant figure in the online left. Hassan Piker live streams for 8 hours every single day and typically has between 20 and 40,000 concurrent viewers. Hassan Piker
Can we see the shot collar here, or?
For 8 hours every single day and typically has between 20 and 40,000 concurrent viewers with a total of more than 3 million. He's a fierce critic of Israel.
Anti-Semitism is a canary in the coal mine of fascism. It's one of the oldest bigotries that has caused those of the Jewish faith a tremendous amount of pain. From pogroms to the Holocaust, Jews have always been singled out by those in power as a scapegoat for instability and economic volatility.
No, it did not. There are some allegations in this piece that I just want to be kind of unequivocal about are simply not true. Anything alleging physicality, anything alleging that I knew what my tattoo was, these are the statements of someone who's politically motivated. In this piece, there's a lot about my struggling, not being a good boyfriend, certainly self-medicating with alcohol.
I'm not
and
gonna.
I've been very upfront since the
I'm not gonna
campaign
say that.
That was a pretty dark period of my life after I came back from my combat service, and that's what that that's what that kind of life looks like. And
okay.
People in power cause. A resilient, nascent anti-Semitism is a constant threat, especially as economic instability makes those in power seek out old targets. This is precisely the reason why I am terrified of the conflation of anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism. The conflation is dangerous. Valid criticisms against the
He wants to protect the Jews, guys.
state.
He wants to protect us. Thanks, Hassan.
And everyone can see it. And tying it back to Judaism is a
Thank
single ploy
you.
to
Thank
stop
you so
all manner of
much.
conversation is truly terrifying.
A fierce proponent of taxing billionaires, and the closest thing we have to the long sought-after
Joe Rogan of the left.
Given Hassan's unprecedented ability to bring young men into the fold of progressive politics instead of fascism, Democrats should love him. They should go on his stream. They should invite him to things. But most of them are definitely
Let
afraid
me
of
tell
Hassan
you
Piker and
about my
refuse to speak to him. They're so afraid of him, in fact,
struggle,
that they launched a smear
bro.
campaign against him. And as a professional reviewer of smear campaigns myself, I must say, it is shocking to see someone who isn't a woman get treated like this by the media. Today, in this a bit fruity mini-sode, but first, let me know if you like these, let me know if you want more of them. I want to explore the Democratic establishment's war on Hassan Piker, what it's really about, and what they're leaving on the table by waging it. To do that, I'm so thrilled to be joined by Abdul El Sayed.
Oh, we're interviewing this guy. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot for a second that this guy was even here. I thought we were doing a Hassan Glaze piece. My bad.
Did it for U.S. Senate from the great state of Michigan.
Is there any actual evidence of Hassan converting people? No, none whatsoever. Because he probably doesn't. That's just a made-up thing. Which is funny because they usually make fun of me for converting people by saying that my whole audience is composed of ex-Nazis. Like that's why they always say, or he used to say a lot that I have an audience full of Nazis. But I don't know. It's just people just say whatever the fuck.
Michigan, who controversially made a campaign stop this week alongside Hassan Piker, and who was admonished for it by many in the Democratic establishment, but it didn't stop him.
Hassan Piker just recently became an issue in Michigan. Dr. Abdul Al Sayed, one of the 3 candidates and a former CNN commentator, announced that Piker will join him for 2 rallies in April.
Now to the Michigan Senate race, where a Democratic candidate is forging a controversial alliance with a left-wing streamer who has defended Hamas terrorists. Abu Al Sayed campaigned yesterday with 34-year-old Hassan Piker. Abdul El Sayed, welcome
to the show.
Matt, thank you so much for having me.
To liberal outlets, nice. I guess the right wing didn't have anything to say about it. Okay, based.
How was last night? You appeared alongside Hassan Piker. I mean, I don't know, like, did he eat you? Like, was everything okay?
You get a thought with the Twitter controversy over the last 2 weeks while our madman president was fighting an illegal, unjustifiable war, that this was the most important question of the century. And no, he did not eat. Representative Summer Lee was with us as well. And instead, what we did was we came together to talk about what it means to get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, pass Medicare for all, stand up against illegal wars, abolish ICE, and have
There has to be, if straight men shouldn't be doing this, then no other group of people should be doing this, okay? Bruh. Jesus Christ. This is my impartial media? I guess they don't pretend to be impartial. I don't know if they do or not.
Because we came together to talk about what it means to get money out of politics, put money in your pocket, pass Medicare for all, stand up against illegal wars, abolish ICE, and have a conversation about what it takes to bring people together around that message. It turns out that when you actually go and talk to people, you're willing to persuade them on what you believe, you can elections. You know, everybody pay attention to our campaigning with Hassan. I started my day yesterday on Fox and Friends, where, look, there are a lot of things me and the Fox and Friends hosts are going to disagree on. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to go and have a conversation with some lovely boomers who have been duped by the MAGA movement into thinking that somehow this president wasn't going to start another war to enrich himself and his friends. So, you know, I'm going to go everywhere, talk to everybody, because that's how you campaign in the year of our Lord 2026.
Yeah, it also looked like the lines to get in were extremely long. So I don't know. I guess the college students just didn't hear Jake Tapper's condemnations of Hassan Piker.
You know, it turns out, like, tutting people.
Remember when they said over and over again that Bernie Sanders was going to dominate in every single primary because his audiences, especially with college kids, are so huge.
who they should not listen to is the best single way to make sure they listen to that person. Talk about it. In gay world, we call that the Streisand effect. Abdul, just for appearing alongside Hassan Piker, your detractors have spent the last few weeks smearing you as all sorts of things by proxy. Your opponent in the Michigan Senate race, Mallory McMorrow, she likened Hassan Piker to the far-right neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes. She's not alone in that comparison. Could you characterize these smears and explain where they're actually coming from? Because, as like a Jewish person who respects Hassan for his principles and deeply rejects Nick Fuentes, it just feels so dishonest and frankly offensive. Yeah, I can't answer to why some...
Remember the difference between the McMorrow one? Now we're in friendly land. Lots of yes and, lots of layup questions. We call that a layup question.
Comparison. Could you characterize these smears and explain where they're actually coming from? Because, as like a Jewish person who respects Hassan for his principles and deeply rejects Nick Fuentes, it just feels so dishonest and frankly offensive.
Yeah,
that's a layup. Yeah, agree with me. Yes and.
Subnautica to
DLC. But I can try my best to assess the context in which they say it. What's ironic to me is that
I was
the last
like,
one
what?
actually campaigned with
I didn't hear
Hassan
about
was
that.
Senator
And then
McMorrow
it's
at the
like,
2024 DNC when they were both there to campaign for them.
no, I finished the. I finished
when Hassan was invited to the DNC. But when he decided to come
what's
and
out
campaign
for early
me,
access
there's a whole
so
different
far.
topic. I'll leave it to your very smart, very thoughtful audience to try and figure out why.
Never mind, I hate this fucking guy. Never mind. We have to get Haley Stevens out of the fucking race. We gotta get Haley out. I'm sorry, she's gotta go. Not the Islamophobic shit. Please, God. Oh my God, it's so fucking cringe. Oh my God. Why weren't people mad that the DNC wasn't criticized for inviting Hassan Piker to the Democratic National Convention where we were all coming together to celebrate Kamala Harris and where tons and tons and tons of people were invited to go and attend as content creators and influencers, not as people standing side by side to like campaign alongside a candidate? Come on, it's not even close to the same comparison. Oh my God.
To campaign for Vice President Kamala Harris. And you didn't get this clapback.
Hold on.
One of us who actually campaigned with...
offensive.
Yeah, I can't answer to why somebody says what they say, but I can try my best to assess the context in which they say it. What's ironic to me is that the last one of us who actually campaigned with Hassan was Senator McMorrow at the 2024 DNC when they were both there to campaign for Vice President Kamala Harris.
Yeah, never mind. I hate this guy. I won't support him also. That's not about blue no matter who for me. I won't support the Republican, but like, fuck. Come on. We just have to lie about fucking everything? Hassan was literally with the uncommitted most of the time he was there, and then he stepped in and got kicked out in like 2 minutes. This guy was there to campaign with McMorrow and with Kamala Harris? My God.
And you didn't get this clapback from the likes of Third Way, from the likes of the ADL, from the likes of AIPAC when Hassan was invited to the DNC. But when he decided to come and campaign for me, there was a whole different clapback. And I'll leave it
because they're Islamophobic.
To your very smart, very thoughtful audience to try and figure out why. Maybe it has something to do with similarities that he and I share. Now, the reality
I'm sorry, May, but you are 20 times more likely to get profiled or hated because of your, first of all, just your name versus fucking Hassan and the way that he presents. It's not even close, but I mean, we can pretend, I guess. If you want to lend him some of your minority credibility, I mean, by all means, fucking go for it, Chief.
The reason I stand against anti-Semitism, the reason I categorically oppose any attempt to smear Judaism or the Jewish people is because I love people. And I believe it should matter how you pray as somebody who is of Muslim faith. I believe that you deserve equal rights to peace, dignity, self-determination, equal rights to be venerated and appreciated for who you are.
I also don't trust this anymore. I'm going to always assume you're a bad faith actor who is doing some kind of like weird subversive stuff. Nobody, I'll repeat this for the trillionth time, when you talk about Judaism or whatever, I don't even know what the fuck Judaism. When you talk about Jewish people, we're not talking about the religion. We're not talking about how you pray. We're talking about ethnicities. We're talking about a protected ethno-state for Israel, for the country for a Jewish majority ethnicity. That's what we're talking about. Any weird thing of like, well, I don't care how you pray, blah, blah, blah. That's not really at all what we're talking about. And I don't trust anybody that uses that. I feel that's a dog whistle.
I believe that you deserve equal rights to peace, dignity, self-determination, equal rights to be venerated and appreciated for who you are. It's also the reason I oppose Israel's actions. I oppose genocide. I oppose AIPAC trying to tie our foreign policy interests to the interests of a foreign government. I oppose sending $3+ billion a year to subsidize a foreign military. That is Israel. That's also Egypt. That's also Saudi Arabia and Jordan and Pakistan, all countries who receive tax dollars that you and I pay to provide for our schools here and our healthcare here. I oppose all of those things because I love people. It goes back to the same set of principles. Don't tell me that you stand against anti-Semitism and believe in equality when you cannot oppose a genocide being perpetrated by our tax dollars. Those two things are one and the same. There are a lot of folks who want to stretch the meaning of anti-Semitism to include righteous opposition against the actions of a foreign government. I will never be okay with that because my principles are fundamentally about justice. They're fundamentally about love of people. And so, look, people are trying to make this into some sort of tribal thing, but I was raised by my father who's an Egyptian immigrant, my stepmom Jackie who's about the American Revolution. I've never fit comfortably into any tribe. The tribe I'm from is the tribe of Michigan, and here in Michigan, we want our tax dollars to be funding healthcare in Michigan.
The tribe of
to be funding
Michigan.
the ability for folks to live a dignified life in Michigan. And as the future senator from Michigan, that's going to be my focus. So when I watch as folks in DC bend to the power of a super PAC funded by MAGA billionaire dollars in the form of AIPAC, telling us that the best use of Michigan tax dollars are somewhere else, I'm going to call bullshit. I'm going to call bullshit every time. And Hassan's been calling bullshit too. And people are trying to then say, well, that's because of some sort of animus. No, it's because we love people. We love Jewish people. We love Palestinian people. We love all people. And it's a responsibility to stand up and fight against that. So, I'm going to reject this smear. And at the end of the day, what somebody else does in their campaign is really not of my concern. I'm more focused on defending the people in the state of Michigan rather than defending myself.
Come on, principled messaging. I mean, look, as someone who lives in New York and
Whoa, what do you mean you're more worried about the people of Michigan? I thought for Mallory McMorrow, wasn't it really important to say, hold on, as a senator, you need to use your leverage in order to force the, I don't know what the fuck, somehow the United States to not support anybody anywhere or whatever. Why do we care so much about the people of Michigan now? Where's that same energy for? Aren't you going to use your influence in the Senate to pull all funding from Israel and international? I guess it's kind of like baked in as the assumption, but that answer was not really in the same vein as what this guy was looking for from Mallory, but okay.
Who just saw very similar conversations play out over the entirety of the New York City mayoral campaign with Saran Mamdani. It is interesting to me how these public figures, whether or not they're even running for office, which Hassan Piker is not. So it's interesting that we'll have to come together to condemn a Twitch streamer.
Well, because you're literally running alongside this person and you're more or less endorsing him as he endorses you. Like, for instance, just pretend, replace, to help you fucking morons figure this out, replace Abdul al-Sayed with Kamala Harris and replace Hassan Piker with what you thought Liz Cheney was doing last election. Then maybe you'll understand a little bit more why people are so ass-pained. Except the difference is that Hassan is literally closely aligned with Abdul al-Sayed and is trying to say they have similar policy positions and everything else, whereas Liz Cheney was just saying a lot of people don't like Trump and them anymore, so, we need somebody to vote for that'll save our democracy.
But regardless, you see these public figures turned into symbols and...
I just don't understand why these leftists are also classless. Why attack Democrats at every opportunity when you need regular Democrats to get you in office? Because they're not, because that's the only way that they can grow as a party is to siphon off voters from the Democrats. They will never, these guys don't convert MAGA or convert people from the fucking right or convert fucking moderates. They can only exist in the most deepest, mind-fucked places of blue districts. I think the one win that they've had of their 168 whatever fucking candidate so far, the one win they've had in the Democratic primary was, I think, literally the most blue district in the entire United States. That's all they can do.
I'm a Twitch streamer. But regardless, you see these public figures turned into symbols and sort of proxy wars for people's position on Israel by these bad faith actors. And that's, what's so interesting to me is because Hassan Piker, in this case, the reason they call him anti-Semitic, Hassan Piker's not anti-Semitic. He's an anti-Zionist, which I am, which Zoran Mamdani is, which many of us are, and for good reason. Look what
it's so gross, too, that they try to trade so hard on Mamdani's reputation. Mamdani is 20 trillion times better than any of you fucking crazy lunatics. And the fact that they try so hard to throw their lot in with him and to be associated with him is cringe as fuck.
Israel is doing to Palestine, to the world. That, of course, gets conflated and they get called anti-Semitic.
I'll say this, Matt, it's sad to me when we lack the courage as a society to speak basic foundational truths. They're the kind of truths that they write children's books about. These things are not that hard. No one group of people
Do I have to start all over?
No one group of people gets to be better than any other group of people. All people deserve equal rights to peace, dignity, and self-determination. Those are not that hard to say. But you've got the likes of the ADL, you've got the likes of Third Way, all trying to ram down our throats. Something we all know at the pit of our core is just
I'm
unfair
not sure
and true.
what it
At the end of
is.
the day, the question to me is, where do you stand? And too
What
often
is
we
it?
watch as Democratic
Do I have
politicians
to start
are now
over?
bending over backwards to justify public policies that they know are inconsistent with their own beliefs. And I'll just tell you this, my second ever presidential election was for Barack Hussein Obama. I was so proud to vote for him. It's the first time I ever saw myself.
When you talk to these YouTubers, no, all these people will infinitely always
run.
Yeah, they don't ever have challenging conversations ever.
A politician at all. I mean, his dad immigrated from Africa. My dad immigrated from a different part of Africa. He had mixed parents. I was raised by mixed parents. He's got a funny name. I got a funny name. He is tall and skinny. I'm decidedly not tall and relatively thick. But beyond that, I saw myself in somebody for the first time. And the best thing he did was he stood up against a stupid war that everybody understood was ridiculous. And he was able to explain it in very simple language. I don't know what happened in the next 18 years when our party became the party of war again. And I'm just trying to say that if we're about our principles, let's be about our principles anywhere and everywhere. Because if there are exceptions, then at the end of the day, our foundational belief in equality is not being met. And I just think that
the Democrats became the party of war.
I don't. Let me re-listen. Hold on.
I saw myself in somebody for the first time. And the best thing he did was he stood up against a stupid war that everybody understood was ridiculous. And he was able to explain it in very simple language. I don't know what happened in the next 18 years when our party became the party of war again. And
people hate these guys. Don't like Barack Obama. They're not like as open with it because they still have to try to trick black people to voting for him and to pretend that they're like representing their interests. But these people all fucking hate Obama. If you find them in the right space or you listen to them talk closely, that it'll come out. They fucking hate. They hate Obama.
What do they hate? That he just
because he was pro-America. They don't like the ACA. Sometimes they'll blame Obama for not going far enough with the public option. They'll blame Obama for not making abortion legal federally, like a law across the entire United States. Why are you even asking this question? Why are you even asking this question? What a serious? Because Obama hates America and because he was a corporate shell. They hate the fact that the whole Gaddafi Libya thing. They don't like any foreign stuff. They don't like Syria.
No,
like they hate Obama. They do.
They hate America. I got it.
I'm just trying to say that if we're about our principles, let's be about our principles anywhere and everywhere. Because if there are exceptions, then at the end of the day, our foundational belief in equality is not being met. And I just think that is what people will judge you on. Everyday folk want to know that you care about their issues and that you understand what they're facing. And if you're more interested in what's happening in somewhere abroad and you are willing to spend their taxpayer dollars somewhere else to destroy someone else's life, money that could be spent to improve our own, they're going to fault you for it. So don't be surprised when we don't win elections because we are hypocritical on our own values. And I want Democrats to win. And I want us to win because I want us to be clear about what we believe. It's not enough to be against Donald Trump. Obviously, the man is an egotistical, egomaniacal, now genocidal maniac who doesn't have the basic cognitive capacity that is deserving of the job. And at the same time, it's not enough to just point to him and be like, oh, well, he sucks. Clearly he sucks, so why are you better?
No, he was praising Obama, then saying we went downhill after. No, listen to what he said. Hold on.
We'll judge you on. Everyday folk want to know that you care about our principles, which I don't know what happened in the next stupid war that everybody understood was ridiculous. And he was able to explain it in very simple language. I don't know what happened.
He says, I don't know what happened in the next 8 years. Is that what he says? From 2016 to 2024? Does he say 8 years?
In the next 18 years.
18 years.
Our party became the party of war again.
That's what he's talking about. They hate Obama. They hate him. They hate him.
And I'm just trying to say that if we're about our principles, let's be about a maniac who doesn't have the basic cognitive capacity that is deserving of the job. And at the same time, it's not enough to just point to him and be like, oh, well, he sucks. Clearly he sucks, so why are you better? You got to be fighting for something, not just against something.
Well, and when we talk about like this war on Hassan Piker, this war on you, this war on Zoran Mamdani, which by the way, is very interesting that these sort of centrist mainstream corporate Democrats pick a big.
The war on I'm sorry, and I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just not watching the right media, but I feel like the war on Mamdani is all fucking Republicans. Are there still like center left lib outlets that are attacking Mamdani? Maybe I'm just not seeing it.
Really.
Everything that comes across my feed, I feel like it's all fucking Republicans that fucking hate him. They fucking hate Mamdani. I don't see lib left attacking him, but again, I don't know. During the primary, sure, but after that,
Zoran Mamdani, which by the way is very interesting that these sort of centrist mainstream corporate Democrats pick the biggest fights with all happen to be Muslim. But I digress. That war is being
also this dude. You're so fucking white and retarded. Oh my god, and both so American. Both of these people are so fucking white. But
this war on you, this war on Zoran Mamdani, which by the way is very interesting that these sort of centrist mainstream corporate Democrats pick the biggest fights with all happen to be Muslim.
It's so crazy that like Republicans are trying to be fucking actually Islamophobic and they try to claim that Mamdani is like this Islamist jihadist, which is a joke. But then these people on the far left try to claim that lib left is attacking Mamdani all the time, like in an Islamic or Islamophobic way. It's like what the fuck are we doing here? It's so cringe. Holy shit.
Who on the left is attacking Mamdani right
after
now?
the election? I don't know. I don't see it. If it's happening, I'm just not seeing it. So I don't know.
But I digress. That war is being waged oftentimes not by Republicans, not by the right. Of course, they're always going to bitch and moan about everything that we do over here. But it is coming from the people that should be our bedfellows. So on the same day, Israel passed an ethnically segregated death penalty last week, 2 weeks ago, that only applies to Palestinians in what's been called the very definition of apartheid. CNN's Jake Tapper, who I will never shut up about, hosted an 8-minute segment litigating the ethics of welcoming Hassan Piker into the Democratic Party. Now, I know that
why the fuck was Jake Tapper and them talking about?
All right, guys. I think that's it for the early stream. We will finish that up. I think maybe we'll finish that video in the later stream, but I definitely want to watch Hutch's full conversation with McMorrow because I haven't gotten to watch that, so that'll be interesting. And then if there's anything else going on, obviously we'll go ahead and take a look at that. But for now, I will say see you guys in a few hours. Everybody have a beautiful time. Raid? Raid who? Raid anything else? Sure. Why not? Host channel. Anything else? Everybody have a beautiful time. Bye.